Chapter 1553. After Elder Yu Xiujuan's description, Xiaoping finally knew the specific situation of the World Head Star. Although the Qinquan sect was powerful and covered 6 major star fields, their manpower was also quite limited. To govern such a vast area of 6 major star fields required a lot of manpower and material resources. It could be said that most of the Qinquan sect's power was placed on other planets, where there were more important benefits. Therefore, they could not put a part of their power on the World Head Star. Moreover, the World Head Star was considered to be prosperous in commerce, located at the border of the Western Universe. Many Western Universe forces would go to the World Head Star to trade with the people of the Eastern Universe. But because of this, the World Head Star was also targeted by many forces, causing the planet to be controlled by many foreign forces. The influence of the Qinquan sect was weakening day by day. Once upon a time, there were Qinquan Golden Core disciples who went to that planet to carry out a mission, trying to clean up the local forces, but they all returned without success, and some were even secretly murdered. Over time, the planet became a no-man's land. So, you have to become the master of this planet. Yu Xiujuan said in a deep voice, you have to make the other forces on this planet bow down to the Qinquan sect and become the real decision-maker. The sect does not have any resources or manpower to delegate to you, so you can only rely on yourself. Xiaoping understood. This sect mission was indeed not that simple. There were no resources or manpower, and he wanted to settle the World Head Star by himself and eliminate the other forces. This was extremely difficult. No wonder the mission time limit was 10 years. So, what forces on this planet are worth paying attention to? Xiaoping wanted to know the specific situation of this planet. Although there are many forces on this planet, and there are many underworld gangs of different sizes, the strongest force is none other than the Medlin family, Yu Xiujuan said. This family is not simple. They are extremely united. Even if they are an underworld family, the patriarch's strength is at the Golden Core level, enough to become the master of a planet. Most importantly, they're suspected of colluding with the Red Scarf Bandits. They seem to have an unusual relationship with them, often helping to sell stolen goods and launder money. It is because they colluded with the Red Scarf Bandits that their power grew day by day, causing them to become the largest force on the World Head Star. No one dares to provoke them. Red Scarf Bandits. Xiaoping was startled. He did not expect to hear the name Red Scarf Thief from the Elder's mouth. Ever since he destroyed a large number of the Red Scarf Pirates' battleships in the Cloud Realm and stole their crystal fragrant rice, he had never heard of this interstellar pirate's name again. To be honest, he had always been afraid of the Red Scarf Bandits. The geographical location of the Cloud Realm was very remote, and basically no one knew about it. It was like a drop of water in the vast universe. If one did not look carefully, they would not be able to find it. However, the Red Scarf Bandits were different. They knew the exact location of the Cloud World. It could be said that they were a huge hidden danger. Once the Red Scarf Bandits came out in full force to deal with the Cloud Sky Realm, it would cause great trouble. Of course, with the existence of the Skynet system, he was not worried about the strength of the Red Scarf Bandits. The problem was that the Red Scarf Bandits' large-scale operation would definitely attract the attention of other forces, causing the Sky Realm to be exposed to the eyes of those with ulterior motives. At that time, the Cloud World would no longer be a secret place, and there would be an endless stream of people with ulterior motives. Therefore, he wanted to annihilate the Red Scarf Bandits and completely strangle the source of this danger. This way, not many people in the universe would know the exact location of the Cloud World. If it was before, it might be beyond his power to annihilate the Red Scarf Bandits. However, after advancing to the Golden Core realm and mastering many magical powers, the mere Red Scarf Bandits were nothing. Red Scarf Bandits? I also know the name of this interstellar pirate group, but what's so great about it? Xiaoping calmly inquired about the information of the Red Scarf Bandits. The Red Scarf Bandits are just an ordinary pirate group. The leader of the Red Scarf Bandits is at most at the Returning Truth realm. Yu Xiujuan said in a deep voice, the problem is that this pirate group seems to have connections with many great families. They have become the black gloves of these great families and are responsible for doing many dirty things. They are also responsible for laundering money and plundering all kinds of resources. If they were to deal with the Red Scarf Bandits, it would be like pulling one hair and affecting the whole body. I'm afraid it would attract the forces of many great families. Therefore, they're like a powder keg. Not many people dare to provoke them, which is why they have been getting away with it. I see. Xiaoping nodded. He also knew that the Red Scarf Bandits were not simple. Just the 9-heaven-growing soil and the crystal-fragrant rice were two treasures that ordinary pirates could not take out. So this time when you go to the World Head Star, not only do you have to deal with the Medlin family, you may also have to deal with the Red Scarf Bandits. Sometimes, even the forces of the Western universe will get involved and cause you trouble. Yu Xiujuan said, so this situation is very complicated. If there are any major changes, even if the mission fails, there will be no punishment. He indicated that there would be no punishment for this mission. It was just a trial. I understand. Xiaoping nodded. In 3 days, you will set off to the World Head Star. Yu Xiujuan said, and this time you must conceal your identity and use another alias. You cannot reveal your identity as a disciple of the saint. You can only go there as an ordinary true disciple. Of course, we have already prepared a false identity and alias for you. Everything is traceable and will not be discovered. Your alias will be Yang Budong. He wanted Xiaoping to conceal his identity. This was also a matter of course. If Xiaoping went to the World Head Star with his real identity, as a disciple of the saint, which reckless guy would dare to provoke him? Anyone with a brain problem would automatically retreat. After all, the identity of the disciple of the saint represented the face, strength, and dignity of the Qinquan sect. If anyone dared to deal with the disciple of the saint, they would be the enemy of the Qinquan sect. In this way, the trial would naturally lose its meaning. Yang Budong? Understood. Xiaoping said, well, that's it. I hope everything goes well in your trial. Yu Xiujuan ended the call with Xiaoping. Interesting, Red Scarf Bandits? Maybe this time I will really have to face the Red Scarf Bandits. I want to see what kind of secrets these interstellar pirates are hiding. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. Once upon a time, he was as weak as an ant in front of the Red Scarf Bandits, but now things have changed. In his eyes, the Red Scarf Bandits were no longer a big trouble. Even now, there was a chance to completely eliminate this trouble. Corinne, first collect information about the World Head Star. We will set off in 3 days. Xiaoping said to Corinne. Elder Yu Xiujuan's information was only a small part. He still needed to understand a lot of information about the World Head Star. Know yourself and know your enemy, and you will always be victorious. Although he was confident, he would not be blind. No problem. Chapter 1554. At this moment, in another area of Heaven and Earth sect, Yu Xiujuan and a few elders gathered together. I never expected that junior brother Xia would actually advance to the Golden Core realm so quickly. It's truly inconceivable. 2 years ago, he was only at the Violet Palace realm, right? How did he improve so quickly? Could this be the natural endowment of a disciple of a sage? An elder exclaimed. If it was an ordinary disciple who was improving at such a godly speed, it would definitely attract the attention of many elders. Perhaps they would even look for an opportunity to capture the other party and dig out the secret behind the other party's rapid cultivation speed. Could it be that the other party possessed some kind of secret treasure? After all, if there was a treasure that could allow an ordinary disciple to advance from Purple Mansion realm to Golden Core realm in 2 years, even Lightning Tribulation realm experts would drool over it. But Xiaoping was a disciple of a saint and had a huge background. With the support of a saint, anyone who coveted him would just be courting death. Such a situation naturally calmed them down, and they didn't dare to have any bad thoughts. They could only feel envy in their hearts. Moreover, they guessed that Dark North Saint might have given him some treasure which allowed Xiaoping to improve so quickly. Sometimes, a strong background was the only way to keep one's peace. Junior brother Xia is indeed amazing. His talent is monstrous. Otherwise, he wouldn't have comprehended our Heaven and Earth sect's top technique, Great Yin-Yang Tablet Smashing Hand. In the future, our Heaven and Earth sect will have another saint. Yu Xiujuan chuckled excitedly. The eyes of the other elders immediately lit up. Right now, their Chinquin sect had 3 sages and was like the sun in the sky. If they had another sage, they would truly be able to suppress all the other Saint tier sects and make them unable to raise their heads. How many Saint sects only had 1 saint? If they had 4, it would be incredible. No matter where they went, they would be like a crab that could dominate others. But isn't it too dangerous for him to participate in the World Headstar mission? That place isn't simple. There are all sorts of people, and the complexity of the factions is unimaginable. An elder said solemnly, "If junior brother Xia goes there and faces unimaginable danger, then we will all be sinners of heaven and earth sect." He was worried that Xia Ping might be targeted by enemies. "Don't worry. This is Dark North Saint's request." Yu Xiujuan waved his hand. After all, if you want to become a qualified cultivator, you don't just need to immerse yourself in cultivation and seclusion all day long. At the same time, you also need to have the experience and intelligence to deal with complex situations. Sometimes, it's easier to block a knife in the open than to guard against an arrow in the dark. Therefore, junior brother Xia needs a chance to gain experience to let him understand the dangers of the world. Even if he fails this mission, it doesn't matter. As long as he can comprehend something from this mission, it will be enough. Many elders nodded their heads in agreement. That was indeed the case. No matter how powerful one would be consigned to eternal damnation if one was plotted against by others. Since ancient times, countless experts have been plotted against and died without a complete corpse. Even sages have been plotted against and perished. This proved the importance of experience and intelligence. Moreover, he should have a secret treasure bestowed upon him by Dark North Saint. Even if there is any danger, he should be able to withstand it. Yu Xiujuan smiled. "I see." Many of the elders suddenly understood. As a disciple of the Dark North Saint, how could he not have a few treasures bestowed by the Dark North Saint? It seems like their worries were groundless. A few days later, in a detached villa on the World Head Planet. At this moment, many of the important figures of the World Head Planet's underworld families were present. The most important figure was the leader of the Medlin family, Blunt. He sat on a master's seat, exuding a dignified aura, like a formidable hero of a generation. His strength was not simple either, impressively reaching the peak of the Golden Elixir realm. I believe everyone has heard the news. Blunt was the first to speak. The Chinquin sect recently planned to send a Golden Elixir realm successor disciple to our World Head Planet, wanting to become the ruler of this planet. What does everyone think of this matter? What else do you think? The Chinquin sect hasn't sent a successor disciple for 10 years, and now they suddenly want to send someone to take over the World Head Planet and become the ruler of this planet. How is that possible? That's right. Without saying a word, they want to wipe out all our years of hard work and take all the wealth we have obtained for themselves. No matter what, we can't agree to it. That may be the case, but the Chinquin sect is a sacred sect after all. It's not like our small underworld families can offend them. Even a Golden Elixir realm successor disciple can't afford to offend them. Bullsh *T. You're just boosting their morale and diminishing our own. It's just a Chinquin sect successor disciple. It's not like we haven't killed him before. What's the big deal? Indeed, the Chinquin sect is a big family. Over time, they have countless successor disciples. Naturally, it's not a big deal if 1 or 2 of them die. That sounds nice. We can kill a Golden Elixir realm successor disciple. But what if we anger the Chinquin sect? Next time they send a returning nature realm, or even a transcendence realm powerhouse over, how can we kill him? Are we just going to wait to die? That can't be right. Although the World Head Planet is also a commercial planet, it's still a bit lacking compared to the other prosperous planets ruled by the Chinquin sect. Why would a Transcendence Realm powerhouse be sent to this place? That might be the case. If we kill that successor disciple and infuriate the Chinquin sect, they might really send people over. At that time, we'll be dead for sure. A bunch of cowards. If you're so afraid, why don't you surrender to the Chinquin sect and become their dogs? What kind of underworld boss are you? The group of underworld family leaders discussed and quarreled with each other. Some people felt that they should kill that Shinkuin sect's successor disciple without anyone knowing. This way, they could kill until the Shinkuin sect was afraid and they wouldn't send people over. They would still be the boss of the world head planet. However, some people felt that they could get along peacefully. After all, the Shinkuin sect's power was too terrifying. If they could avoid offending them, it would be best for everyone. If they really angered the Shinkuin sect, no matter where they hid, they wouldn't be able to escape death. All right, stop arguing. Blunt waved his hand, indicating for everyone to stop talking. I roughly understand your opinions, but killing isn't the only solution. The Shinkuin sect has so many successor disciples. If we kill one, we can still send another. How can we kill so many? Only by cooperating can we achieve a win-win situation. Maybe we have a chance to cooperate with that Shinkuin sect's successor disciple and even borrow his power to enter the Shinkuin sect. His eyes revealed blazing ambition. The problem is, what if he doesn't cooperate? Someone asked, then he will die. Those who follow me will prosper. Those who oppose me will die. Chapter 1555. A few days later, Xiaoping set off for World Head Star. Originally, he wanted to look for Su Ji, Yu Qi, Jiang Yaru, and Chu Rong, but they seemed to be carrying out a sect mission and went to some secret realm to train, so they couldn't return a heaven and earth sect for the time being. Feng Hetong relied on his relationship with Yang Ming, and seemed to be doing well in heaven and earth sect, forming a clique with a group of new disciples and living a carefree life. So he put this matter aside for the time being and ignored it, heading to World Head Star alone. The speed of stars was very fast, and in just 2 or 3 days, it arrived at the border of the East Universe, the closest place to the West Universe. This is World Head Star. The spaceship arrived outside World Head Star, and through the virtual projection, Xiaoping could see that this planet was no different from an ordinary life planet, about the same as Yanwang Star. But there were many spaceships around, and they were extremely busy, several times more than an ordinary commercial planet. It had to be said that this planet was indeed one of the nodes between the West Universe and the East Universe. There were countless people entering and exiting this place for business transactions. Beep beep, at this moment, Corinne's voice sounded. Xiaoping, there was a strange communication signal, just now. It seems to be from World Head Star. Do you want to connect? World Head Star signal? Is it the person in charge of heaven and earth sect stationed on this planet? They should know that I'm here. Connect it now. Xiaoping said lightly. Although the actual power of World Head Star was currently not in the control of heaven and earth sect, there were still some heaven and earth sect disciples stationed here, acting as the nominal master of World Head Star. But these heaven and earth sect disciples on World Head Star were very low-key, not daring to be arrogant, for fear of offending the important people of this planet and being destroyed. Although the underworld people of World Head Star didn't dare to openly kill heaven and earth sect disciples, if they wanted to kill people, there were all kinds of methods they could use, and they could kill them silently. Beep beep, immediately, the virtual projection appeared, and a middle-aged man wearing a gray robe with a protruding mouth and monkey cheeks appeared in front of Xiaoping and smiled. I'm Duan Qingrui, the temporary acting person in charge of World Head Star. Junior brother Yang Budong, I've been waiting for you. I'm really honored. I've been blessed for 3 lifetimes. He had a flattering expression. So it's senior brother Duan. What business do you have with me? Xiaoping knew that the name Yang Bu was a fake identity that Elder Yu Xiujun had deliberately spread. On top of that, he was also wearing a human skin mask made of high molecular materials, changing his appearance. This way, no one would be able to recognize him as the disciple of the Dark North Saint. Honestly speaking, his status in the Shinkuin sect was very respected, and many major powers were paying attention to him. If he revealed his appearance, he might be targeted by others. It was safer for him to completely change his appearance. What are you saying? Junior brother Yang has come to the World Head Star to be the planet leader. As the temporary person in charge of the World Head Star, I naturally have to receive junior brother Yang and let him have a good understanding of the situation here. Duan Qingrui said, although this senior brother's cultivation is not good, I have still lived on this planet for more than 10 years and have a good understanding of all aspects. Presumably, this will be of help to junior brother Yang in ruling the world chief star. However, this isn't a good place to talk. Why don't junior brother Yang come to the heaven and earth sex encampment and let senior brother receive you properly? It can also be considered as being a good host. He also sent her an address. All right, Xiaoping nodded and immediately controlled the spaceship to enter the world head star. After a while, he arrived at the encampment of the Heaven and Earth sect, and the spaceship also landed in the open space inside the mansion. He got off the spaceship and scanned the surrounding environment with his divine sense. It was a vast mansion, covering an area of 8,000 acres. On the mansion's plaque were written the words World Head Star Government Office. However, this mansion was dilapidated and seemed to have been in disrepair for a long time. The roads were muddy, and there were very few employees in the mansion. They all looked lazy and listless. Junior brother Yangbu. At this time, Duan Qingray ran up with a large group of people. On both sides, there were flowers and red carpets. There was also a welcoming lady, making a warm welcome. Xiaoping nodded, unmoved, and didn't say anything. Under Duan Qingray's lead, the two came to a living room in this mansion. This is the World Head Star Chinquin Sex Office? Isn't it a bit dilapidated? Is this the dignified World Head Star Government's mansion? Just sitting down, Xiaoping went straight to the point. He didn't have time to chat with Duan Qingray. Duan Qingray said with a sad face, "Junior brother Yang, you don't know. Although this place belongs to Heaven and Earth sect in name, but with the strength of us ordinary disciples, how can we manage this place? Most of the places on this planet have been divided up by the local underworld families. Even the taxes and public security were maintained by them, and they took care of everything. Don't think that this is the official World Head Star office, but no one comes here to do anything. We can't collect money, and there's no tax, so how can there be any financial income? Over time, this place fell into disrepair and became like this." "Is that so?" Xiaoping sneered. "A group of country bumpkins dares to imitate others to do public security, collect taxes, and become local tyrants. They're simply parrots. They won't make me laugh my teeth off. Senior brother Duan, I'm an honest person and don't like to lie. You're indeed a bit useless. You actually let a group of underworld bumpkins occupy this planet and control the finances. You're really a disgrace to my Heaven and Earth sect. Fortunately, you didn't work for me before. Otherwise, I would have killed you with one punch, lest you continue to waste food and make a fool of yourself." Hearing this, Duan Qingray was so angry that his face turned green. He couldn't say anything for a long time. How was this honest? This was clearly a bad mouth. Was there anyone who insulted people like this? His mouth was a bit poisonous. "But don't worry, after I came, this planet won't be a place for those country bumpkins to run wild. I'll let them know whose territory this is," Xiaoping said lightly. Junior brother Yang, think twice. Duan Qingray was shocked and dissuaded. The situation on this planet isn't as simple as you think. There are many forces, and their roots are intertwined. Especially that Medlin family. They have millions of people. Their leader, Blunt, is an expert at the peak of the Gold Core realm. His strength is terrifying. If it's not a powerful figure above the returning nature realm, it's impossible to deal with him. If we offend such a big shot on World Head Star, I'm afraid we won't be able to leave World Head Star alive. Confrontation is a stupid choice. Only by cooperating can we win. Chapter 1556. Hearing this, Xiaoping gave him a sidelong glance. "Senior apprentice brother Duan, don't compare a useless person like you to me. To you, maybe that Blunt is no match, but to me, he's just a chicken and a stray dog. It's not much harder for me to crush him to death than it is to crush a chick." Duan Qingray was speechless. He still couldn't understand why Yang Budong was so confident. It was obvious that he was only at the early stage of the Golden Elixir realm and had come to this planet alone without any backup. But now, he spoke rudely to Blunt, who was at the peak of Golden Core realm and the Medlin clan, which had at least 1 million members. It was too exaggerated to say that he could easily crush the other party. He couldn't understand. "All right, enough with the nonsense." Xiaoping waved his hand. "Go down immediately. Tell them to hold a banquet at the best hotel on the world head planet tonight. Invite the leaders of all the major forces. Everyone must be present. I don't care what they have to do. Even if they have something, they have to put it down and come back immediately. Otherwise, they will be my enemies and make me unhappy. If they make me unhappy for a while, I will make them unhappy for the rest of their lives. He gave the order, but we have no money now, not even a penny. How can we hold a banquet? Duan Qingrui's face was bitter. They didn't even have the money to repair their house or pay their salaries. How could they have the money to hold a banquet at the most famous hotel? Senior apprentice Brother Duan, are you joking? Xia Ping said disdainfully. As the master of the world head planet, you have great power. You have to pay to eat at a hotel. What logic is that? Duan Qingrui's mouth twitched. He wanted to ask loudly what logic was that. Which hotel didn't need to pay to eat? Even the president had to pay. He had never seen anyone eat and dash so openly and with such a strong sense of righteousness. Okay, if the hotel wants to ask you for money, tell them to stop operating from tomorrow onwards. I will check the hotel's hygiene every day until it closes down. Xia Ping gave Duan Qingrui some pointers. My God, was this still the dumb Qianquan sect true disciple who only knew how to cultivate in seclusion? They were even more ruthless than gangsters when it came to playing tricks. They were extremely skilled. This fellow was definitely a direct descendant of some great family. He was used to scheming and scheming against others all day long. That was why he was so familiar with these methods and could blurt them out. Duan Qingrui had no other choice but to say, yes, Junior Brother Yang, I'll do it. Very well, then you can go down. I've been on the spaceship for a while, and I'm very tired. I want to rest. Xia Ping waved his hand, indicating for Duan Qingrui to leave. Upon hearing this, Duan Qingrui waved his hand and got some maids to lead Xia Ping to the master bedroom nearby to rest. Then, he left the city lord's mansion and went to the Golden Dragon Hotel, which was the most luxurious hotel on World Headstar and one of the important properties of the Medlin family. When he arrived at the Golden Dragon Hotel, he was so familiar with the place as if it was his own home. As soon as he entered, a guard recognized him and invited him in without saying anything. A few minutes later, Duan Qingrui arrived at the conference room on the top floor of the Golden Dragon Hotel. At this moment, not only Blunt, the leader of the Medellin clan, but the leaders of the other major clans had also come. This was equivalent to a high-level meeting on the world premier star, with extremely high standards. Brother Duan, what's the situation? Can that guy cooperate and surrender to us? Blunt stared at Duan Qingrui and asked about the specific situation. Mr. Blunt, it's like this. I'm afraid that guy is very arrogant, and it's almost impossible to cooperate with him. Duan Qingrui's eyes flashed a cold light as he recounted what had just happened, as well as his conversation with Xia Ping. Even the scene was recorded by the surveillance device installed in the mansion and played for everyone to see. But after watching the scene, Blunt and the others were so angry that their faces turned green. They clenched their fists, blue veins popping out. Audacious. Arrogant. Arrogant. Preposterous. Who does that brat think he is? He actually said that we're parrots and monkeys? He's simply boundlessly arrogant. Just where did this little bastard come from to dare insult us like this? He wants to come to the Golden Dragon Hotel to dine and dash, and if we don't eat, he'll close the restaurant. Outrageous. Does he really think he's the king of heaven, swaggering around, and everyone obeys him? Kill him. Kill this son of a bitch immediately. The world premier star is an industry that we built after hundreds of years of operation. This yellow-haired kid wants to become the master of the world premier star with just one sentence. He's dreaming. A group of underworld bosses cursed. They were infuriated by Xia Ping's words. They had never seen such an arrogant person, so condescending to the extreme. Did that guy really think that they were fish on the chopping block, to be slaughtered as he pleased? Seeing this, Blunt smiled slightly. Perhaps this was not necessarily a bad thing. The appearance of such an enemy would make the forces of the entire world premier star incomparably united. Thinking of this, he looked at Duan Qingrui. Brother Duan, what do you think of this matter? Blocking one's path to wealth is like killing one's parents. Since he doesn't know how to be a human, then send him to be a ghost. This is not Universe Star, but World Premiere Star. Someone has to teach him this truth. Duan Xingrue said faintly. He was able to gain a foothold on World Premiere Star for more than 10 years because he colluded with this group of underworld forces. He even obtained most of the reasons from them to aid his cultivation. Originally, his aptitude was not good and he had no background. He could not obtain cultivation resources and had no hope of reaching Golden Core in his lifetime. But after becoming a World Premiere Star, he obtained large amounts of cultivation resources, and his cultivation advanced by leaps and bounds. If someone wanted to snatch his position on World Premiere Star and block his path to wealth, he absolutely could not tolerate it. On this matter, he stood on the same side as Blunt and the rest. What about the banquet? Why don't we just kill him now and cancel the banquet? An underworld boss said sinisterly. No. Duan Xingrue waved his hand. Even if he's a yellow-haired kid, he's still a direct disciple of Universe Sect. If he was killed on the first day he arrived at World Premiere Star, where would Universe Sect's face go? If we really infuriate Universe Sect, and they send an elder over to investigate, you and I will both die. Everyone was awestruck. They did not forget that behind that kid stood a colossus. Even if they wanted to deal with it, they had to think long and hard. They could not trample him to death like they did with a small fry. Brother Duan is right. Temporarily, let him be arrogant for a period of time. We will tolerate him for a while. When the time is right, killing him will be as easy as flipping one's hand. Blunt set the tone. What about the banquet? Are we still holding tonight's banquet? Chapter 1557. At night, World Head Star's Golden Dragon Hotel. Basically, all the famous people of the planet had appeared. All kinds of luxury cars gathered, and the security measures were at the strictest level. Dozens of kilometers were controlled, and there were security personnel everywhere. No unrelated people could enter. Inside the hotel, the men were all in suits, and the women were all in heavy makeup. But while they were dressed up, they couldn't hide their ferocious auras. Obviously, this group of people were not to be trifled with. Not all of them were ferocious, but they were close. After all, to survive in a place like World Head Star, where there were all kinds of people in gangs, and to climb to a high position, one had to have some methods and ruthlessness. It was impossible. I heard this banquet is hosted by the new leader of World Head Star. His name is Yang Bu, a direct disciple of the Heaven and Earth sect. There's actually someone who dares to be the leader of World Head Star. Isn't he afraid of death? I wonder whose territory this is. It's hard to say. Since that guy dares to come to World Head Star, he probably has some ability. Otherwise, why would the Medellin family help him out and host a banquet for free? Looks like this banquet won't be a good one. Humph, even if the sky falls, the tall ones will hold it up first. Anyway, us small fries shouldn't act rashly. Let's see what the Medellin family will do. Everyone discussed, their eyes shining. They clearly knew that this banquet wasn't so simple. This was a major clash between the old and new powers. This would decide the future of World Head Star. Look, the new leader is here. Someone called out. At the door, Xia Ping and the others walked in. They walked like crabs, the kind that carried the wind. The people around couldn't help but make a path for them to pass. They all looked at them curiously. Humph, what a big show. Some people from the Medellin family were very unhappy. This was their territory, and now this group of people completely treated themselves as the masters. Where do they put the Medellin family? This is the direct disciple of the Heaven and Earth sect, Yang Bu. Many people were curious about this new leader. They wanted to see what ability this kid had that he dared to come to World Head Star and act like a dragon crossing the river. Xiaoping walked up to the stage of the restaurant and looked down at the crowd. All of a sudden, the surrounding people immediately quieted down. They wanted to know what Xiaoping wanted to say. They were all very curious about the real purpose of Xiaoping's banquet, especially the big bosses of the underworld. They were most concerned about this matter because it was related to their own interests. I believe that everyone knows who I am. I am Heaven and Earth Sect Direct Disciple Yang Bu. I have no goal for coming to the World Head Star as an officer. I just want to deal with the rebels and let them know that this is Heaven and Earth Sect's territory and not some random country bumpkin can occupy it. Xiaoping went straight to the point. As soon as these words came out, everyone's expression turned extremely ugly. They couldn't help but clench their fists. This brat's words were clearly insulting them. This was a warning to their faces, not giving them any face at all. Moreover, he called them some random cats and dogs, country bumpkins, and even called them traitors. He was treating himself as an imperial envoy, wanted to take their lives. Duan Qingrui was speechless. He had originally wanted to use some small methods to sow discord, to make this kid fight with the factions on World Headstar and become everyone's target. But before he could do anything, this kid self-destructed and became the enemy of all the factions on World Headstar. This was the first time he saw someone who thought his life was too long. Of course, I, Yang Buden, am also a magnanimous person. I am not an unreasonable person. You may have done many wrong things in the past, but it doesn't matter. I can forgive you all and won't pursue it. Xiaoping's words changed. But from now on, if any of you make a mistake and do something that goes against heaven and earth sex interests, then don't blame me for turning on you. Official Yang, we don't understand your words. We have always been law-abiding citizens on World Headstar. We haven't done anything bad. Someone shouted. So that's the case. With your intellect, it is hard to understand if you are too vague. Xiaoping said, since that is the case, then I will simply state my requirements for all of you. In the future, all your transactions, no matter if it is smuggling, selling, or selling slaves, you all need to hand over 90% of the profits. If you don't hand over a single cent, then scram out of World Headstar. He looked around at the people around. 90% of the profits? Why don't you just rob? Hearing this, someone immediately cursed. He looked at Xiaoping like he was looking at Madman. This was what everyone present was thinking. They worked so hard to earn money, and this fellow didn't even need to do anything to take away 90% of their profits. This was worse than robbing. He clearly wanted to suck their blood, and he wanted to suck their blood forever, to extort them like slaves. Who is it? Who dares to speak here? Do you want to die? If you have the balls, come out. Xiaoping squinted his eyes and looked dangerously at everyone. The group immediately shut up, not daring to speak. They didn't want to be the first to speak, but someone still stood out. It was a 2-3-meter tall, strong man, his muscles bulging like a small mountain, giving off a strong aura. Someone immediately recognized this strong man. He was clearly the leader of the Cook Gang, known as the Giant Cook. It was said that his cultivation had reached the peak of the true fire realm, and he could tear a mountain with one move. His fists were enough to shatter meteorites. Kid, the one who spoke just now, was I Cook. Cook laughed coldly. You want to strut around World Headstar and take 90% of the profits? You can't do that with just a few words. Do you have enough power to make us submit? I don't care if you're a heaven and earth sect disciple. A weak chicken with no power wants to be arrogant on World Headstar. I Cook will not agree to it. You should go home and drink with your mother. This place isn't suitable for you. Whoosh. As soon as he finished speaking, he instantly attacked and punched. The fist energy condensed at one point, and the surrounding air was quickly pushed away. It was as though a vacuum zone had been formed. The entire Golden Dragon Hotel was shaking, as though it couldn't take the wind from the punch and was about to collapse. Cracking sounds could be heard, and shocking cracks appeared on the floor. The surrounding people all retreated in fear. They could feel the terror of this punch. If they stood opposite Cook, they would probably be smashed into meat paste. Chapter 1558. Dong. Xiaoping didn't even look at it. He just stretched out a finger and gently touched the huge fist. Cook was 2-3 meters tall, and his body was full of muscles. His fist was the size of a casserole. Such a punch was enough to shatter a meteorite. A finger should be able to crush it easily. However, when this finger touched the fist, all of Cook's strength turned into nothingness. Not even a drop of strength leaked out from this place, and was completely offset. Danger! Cook's hair stood on end. His sixth sense from many years of life and death battles was working. There was a great danger approaching. He couldn't care less about losing face and quickly retreated. His speed was twice as fast as his attack. But it was too late. Xiaoping stretched out another finger and gently touched the void. Bang! In the next second, Cook's body instantly exploded into pieces like a balloon. He turned into a mass of meat paste, and fresh blood poured everywhere in the restaurant. However, the people present were all martial artists with extraordinary strength. They immediately used their magic power to form a barrier, isolating themselves from the blood and preventing it from staining their bodies. What? Everyone was shocked, especially the leaders of the gangs. They knew how terrifying Cook's strength was. Although he was only a warrior at the peak of the true fire realm, he had fought for hundreds of years and had rich experience in martial arts. He even had the experience of escaping from a golden elixir realm cultivator. An expert like him, even if he couldn't beat the pro-disciple of the Heaven and Earth sect, he definitely wouldn't die so easily. However, he was dead now and couldn't even escape. Brother Cook, damn young Boobian, I'm going to kill you. Go to hell, you devil. The 5 or 6 elites of the Cook gang were Cook's sworn brothers. They were like brothers. When they saw Cook being killed on the spot and his body exploding, their eyes were wide open and the hatred in their hearts couldn't be suppressed. Although they were slightly weaker than Cook, they were still at the peak of the true fire realm. The few of them seemed to have gone mad and rushed forward. They separated into several directions and surrounded Xiaoping. At the same time, they tore their clothes and revealed a bundle of bombs. These people seemed to have gone mad and didn't care about their lives. They wanted to die together with Xiaoping. Damn it, the Cook gang is crazy. Retreat. Retreat now. The expressions of the members of the Macklin family changed drastically. Of course, they could sense the danger of the Cook gang. The bombs on these people were not ordinary. They were called plasma bombs. Once the plasma bomb exploded, even a perfected being at the Golden Core realm would be severely injured and the entire city would probably be razed to the ground. Those who were at the center of the explosion had no chance of survival. It was precisely because of this that the Cook gang looked like a small gang, but no one dared to provoke them. This was because this group of people were all people who did not care about their lives, and they would easily die together with others. Noisy, Xiaoping glanced at them indifferently and tapped his finger lightly. Swish, swish, swish. In the twinkling of an eye, streams of condensed flames shot out, surpassing the speed of sound by 100 times. Even the power of divine sense couldn't detect them, and they instantly pierced through the bodies of these 5 or 6 people. Boom! Before the elites of the Cook gang could react or even take a step forward, their bodies immediately emitted a red flame. It was the flame of the essence of the sun, and it was extremely young and strong. In the next second, they were burned to ashes before they could even scream. Even the plasma bombs on their bodies were burned to a mass of residue, leaving only a pile of black material on the ground. The air was filled with the smell of burning. No way, they died just like that. Everyone was stunned. They panicked and planned to escape. After all, being affected by the plasma bombs was not something to be trifled with. Even a Golden Core realm expert would be seriously injured. However, before they could take a step and the panic had not spread, the Cook gang members were killed and burned to ashes. These elites of the Cook gang were all cultivators at the true fire realm. Their strength was extraordinary, and they could even exchange a few blows with a Golden Core realm cultivator. But they died just like that without any resistance. Golden Core realm. This young Budong has at least the strength of the Golden Core realm, and his combat power is far beyond that of an ordinary Golden Core realm. He is not someone that ordinary warriors can compare with. The surrounding underworld bosses immediately had a certain degree of evaluation of Xiaoping's strength. However, they felt that such an evaluation was reasonable. After all, he was a direct disciple of the Qinquan sect. To be able to become a direct disciple of a sacred sect, if he did not have the combat power to suppress cultivators of the same level, it would be a joke. They had long known this. However, looking at his current attack, this young Budong's combat power was more terrifying than they had imagined. It was no wonder that he was so arrogant and domineering when he came to the World Head Star, wanted to take 90% of the benefits. Okay, the troublemakers are dead. Everyone, please rest assured. Xiaoping stood with his hands behind his back. But to think that you can deal with me with such little strength, it is really a bit arrogant. As a direct disciple of the Chinquan sect, the strength I have is not what you country bumpkins can imagine. Don't compare me with you country bumpkins, you know? This universe is so vast that it is beyond the imagination of you country bumpkins. He was condescending, his eyes almost growing on his forehead. Damn, this bastard. Would he die if he didn't speak? The group of people were so angry that their eyes were on fire. Country bumpkins left, country bumpkins right. How much did he want to look down on them before he would let it go? But seeing the strength that Xiaoping had just shown, they also wanted to retreat. After all, anything could be faked, but strength could not be faked. If they dared to resist, they would probably not be much better off than Cuck and his group. Well, what do you think about the matter just now? If you have any opinions, feel free to voice them. I'm a very democratic person, and I like to accept other people's opinions. Feel free to do whatever you want. Xiaoping said carelessly. He welcomed everyone's opinions. Except my ass. The group of people looked at him with disdain. Just now, Cuck had raised an opinion, but he was slapped to death by him. I am afraid that what you welcome is to cater to your opinions, not those that oppose them. If they were really stupid enough to do whatever they wanted, there would probably be a few more corpses in the restaurant. However, in response to Xiaoping's question, they expressed silence and said nothing. No one wanted to be the first to speak up. Even their eyes were on the people of the Medlin family. Now, the only person who could oppose this kid's tyranny was the leader of the Medlin family. At this time, the leader of the Medlin family, Blunt, stood up and said, "Well, the Medlin family has no objections. Sir Yang's order is the decree of the World Head Star. We will naturally obey. From tomorrow onwards, the Medlin family will hand over 90% of the profits." What? Chapter 1559. A few hours later, the banquet finally ended. But what happened at the banquet caused a huge shock that affected the entire World Head Star, especially the Medellin family surrender, agreeing to the ridiculous request of the Chinquan faction's true disciple, Yang Booty. Many mafia bosses found it unbelievable and did not know what had happened. Secretly, many people were inquiring about the Medellin family's thoughts. At this moment, in the Medellin family villa, many of the Medellin family's senior executives and the leaders of the major mafia families had gathered for a meeting. Blunt, what did you mean at the banquet? Someone immediately questioned. We actually agreed to that little bastard's ridiculous request to hand over 90% of the profits. Are you kidding me? If we really hand it over, how are we going to earn money? Are we going to work for Yang Booty for the rest of our lives without a salary? He stared angrily at Blunt. Calm down, what's the rush? Blunt sat in the host's seat, expressionless. Blunt, don't be impatient. Did you make some shady deal with that Yang Boobian? Did he give you great benefits and let you betray the interests of the world premiere star? If so, then you are not qualified to be the patriarch of the Medellin family, nor are you qualified to stay on the World Head Star. Someone scolded. Many of the leaders of the mafia families had a cold glint in their eyes. Although the Medellin family was powerful and could be called the overlord of the World Head Star, if they joined forces, even the Medellin family would not be a match. Do you think if I really had to deal with Yang Booty, I would still have a meeting with you? Use your brain, and you will know that it is impossible for the Medellin family to cooperate with that kid. Blunt said lightly. Then what did Brown mean by what he said to you? Many people were moved and asked. Very simple. Blunt said coldly. Now that kid represents the Chinquan faction, it is not suitable for us to confront him. Moreover, Yang Booty's strength is not simple. We should avoid him. Sometimes, retracting your fist doesn't mean you're retreating. Instead, you're preparing for the next attack. Don't you understand this? His eyes revealed a cold glint. Does the Medellin family have a plan? Someone asked curiously. Blunt sneered. If God wants to destroy people, he will first make them mad. We will let him be happy for a while, and when we are ready, it will be time for him to die. I'm afraid that he will not give us time to prepare. He wants 90% of our profits and wants to see it the next day. How can we give him this money? Someone said unhappily. Blunt. Brown yelled. You're a gangster. Don't you know how to falsify accounts? That brat was a successor disciple of Chinquan sect. He was a genius in cultivation, but he might not be good at doing business. When the time comes, as long as you give us a fake account book and cross off more than 90% of the transactions, leaving only 10%, even if you hand over 90%, we won't be hurt. Will that kid be able to understand so much data? Even if young Budong really understand the account books, we have so many forces and so many account books. By the time he understands, he will already be dead. How can he wait until it's his turn to make decisions? Hearing those words, everyone came to a sudden realization and revealed faint smiles. That was indeed the case. Although that kid wanted to ask for 90% of the profits, the problem was how they were going to do the accounting. Originally, they had earned 100 million from doing business. Now, they had falsified the accounting and said that they could only earn 1 million. That way, they would have to pay 900,000. If he could send the other party away with a little money, it would be like feeding him to a dog. No wonder he's the patriarch of the Macklin family. He's really cunning. Many people were filled with admiration. They finally understood Blunt's plan. But someone still asked, "Lord Brown, I roughly understand your plan, but the key to the plan is to get rid of Yang Budong. If we can't get rid of Yang Budong, then any plan is fake." You saw Yang Budong's strength at the banquet just now. He's at least a golden core realm cultivator. It's not so easy to kill an expert of that level. Everyone nodded. If they joined forces, it would be easy to defeat Yang Bai, but it wouldn't be so easy to kill him. After all, if Yang Bai saw that the situation was not good, he would escape. Once their plan was exposed, it would probably incur the wrath of the Chinquan sect. At that time, they would send many experts over, and all of them would die without a complete corpse. Even if the Chinquan sect didn't send any experts over, since Yang Budong could become a true disciple, how could he not have friends and lackeys? If he casually invited a few true disciple friends of the Chinquan sect over, they probably wouldn't be able to do anything. Sometimes, the identity of a true disciple of the Chinquan sect didn't only represent one's strength, but also the power behind the other party and a series of relationships. Everyone, don't worry. I've already thought of this. As for how to kill him, that's the Macklin family's business. It's definitely foolproof. Blunt didn't want to reveal the plan to kill Yang Budong and expressed that it was confidential. Everyone also understood Blunt's concerns. After all, there were too many people now. Who knew if there were people in this group who were on Yang Budong's side? If the plan was exposed, they would suffer a calamity. 2 hours later, the meeting ended. Many of the underworld bosses left in satisfaction. They immediately felt relieved after getting the promise from the Macklin family. "Lord Brown, are we going to invite the cadres of the Red Scarf Thieves over?" Seeing that there was no one around, Duan Qingrui stayed at the side and asked. Of course. Blunt's eyes revealed a trace of coldness. Right now, the World Head Star has something that needs to be handed over to the Red Scarf Thieves. That thing is very important and priceless. When the time comes for this transaction, many cadres of the Red Scarf Thieves will arrive. Those cadres of the Red Scarf Thieves are all powerful, and many of them have reached the peak of the Gold Core realm. It's very easy to kill Yang Budong. When the time comes, we'll push all the blame of Yang Budong's death onto the heads of the Red Scarf Thieves. I believe that even if the Chinquan sect is angry, they won't implicate us. By the way, you must keep an eye on Yang Budong these days and report his every move. During this period of time, don't act rashly and bear with him for the time being. He looked at Duan Qingrui. Of course, such people who don't know how to appreciate favors are naturally our enemies. I'll keep an eye on him and won't let him act recklessly. Duan Qingrui's body exuded an eerie, murderous aura. Well, that's good. Chapter 1560. Late at night, World Head Star, Chinquan Sect Branch. Xiaoping also returned to this house. The people around him all retreated, leaving him alone in the bedroom. DD, at this time, the system's voice came out. Congratulations to the host. You have successfully aroused the hatred of most of the underworld characters on World Head Star. You have gained 100 million hatred points. I hope you will continue to work hard. It seems that tonight's performance was very useful. Xiaoping touched his chin. The reason why he proposed such an almost impossible condition was naturally to arouse the hatred of the underworld characters on World Head Star, gain hatred points. Secondly, he was also beating the grass to scare the snake, and completely infuriate the Medlin family. This would naturally lead to the Red Scarf Thieves behind them and then infiltrate the Red Scarf Thieves' headquarters. Now it seemed that his plan was going well. It would not be long before he could touch the real core forces of the Red Scarf Thieves. However, although my main purpose is to deal with the Red Scarf Thieves, the forces on World Headstar have to be cleaned up to complete this sect mission. It's best to find a chance to catch them all. Xiaoping's eyes flickered and he thought of a plan. During this time, he would not let the forces on World Headstar have an easy time. He must force them into a desperate situation so that they would be desperate. This was the advantage of having a righteous cause. No matter who he hit, it was justifiable. The next day, under Xiaoping's order, Duan Qingrui found all the information of the major forces on World Headstar. Although Duan Qingrui, he didn't want to do this kind of thing, he had to do it. After all, he was still undercover for the time being. He didn't want to be suspected by Xiaoping because of this. Xiaoping casually flipped through the information and pointed to one of the information. What's going on with this Fiend family? They actually sell slaves of various races? Don't they know that this is prohibited by Qinquan's sect? Why do they knowingly violate it? Are they looking down on Qinquan's sect's laws and harboring evil intentions? What? Duan Qingrui's heart thumped. Damn, is this little ancestor eyeing the Fiend family and wants to continue to cause trouble? No, I can't let this kid be a shit stirrer and do whatever he wants. I must stop him. Junior brother Yang, this Fiend clan is not simple. They are second only to the Medellin clan. Duan Qingrui hurriedly tried to dissuade him. This family is not to be trifled with. They have connections with all the major families in the 6 major galaxies. Their main customers are also major families and forces. Although selling slaves is clearly forbidden, there aren't many people who follow in the dark. If we were to deal with the Fiend clan, it would be like stirring a hornet's nest. Pulling one hair would cause a chain reaction. He vaguely hinted that the Fiend clan was not simple and could not be easily offended. Background? So what if they have a background? They have a background, but we don't. In terms of influence, who can compare to the Qinquan sect? Can they bite me? Xiaoping said disdainfully. Duan Qingrui's face turned green. Although that was what he said, Chun Feng was just an heir disciple. He was still far from being able to mobilize the power of the entire sect. Moreover, it was easy to block a spear in the open, but difficult to guard against an arrow in the dark. If those families really wanted to kill you, they would have 10,000 ways to do so. Junior brother Yang, Duan Qingrui, still wanted to say something. However, Xiaoping was no longer interested in talking to him. He said, "All right, let's cut the crap. An evil organization like this deserves to be punished. I'm going to destroy this inhumane slave organization right now and get rid of a scourge for the people." He decided to find a pushover first and kill the chicken to scare the monkey. This Fiend clan was clearly a good choice. What? We're going now. Duan Qingrui was shocked. He did not expect Xiaoping to make a move so quickly. This gave him no chance to inform the Fiend clan, even if he wanted to. Of course. Come with me. Don't waste time. Xiaoping grabbed Duan Qingrui and left, not giving him a chance to leak the news. At the same time, in an important base of the Fiend clan. In this base, security was tight. There were guards everywhere. It was as if there was a sentry every few steps. Even if a fly flew in, it would be beaten until it looked like a beehive. In the depths of the base, there were race slaves collected from all over the universe. Among them were young girls of the winged race, young girls of the mermaid race, young girls of the fairy race, young girls of the angel race, young girls of the cat ear race, young girls of the rabbit ear race, young girls of the snake race, young girls of the Arhut race, young girls of the Azura race, young girls of the sucking blood race, and so on. The slaves in the cages were basically beautiful girls of various races. Because only beautiful female slaves could be sold for the highest price, causing the bigwigs of the universe to fight over them. Of course, there were male slaves with high prices, but there were very few of them. Most of them could only do hard labor and be used as cannon fodder. However, at this time, the soldiers of the base were worried about one of the slave girls. F***CK, what's going on with slave girl 66? How can she eat so much? She's already eaten a few tons of food. Why is she still eating? I've never seen her full. Oh my God, these days she's eaten 3 years worth of food in our base. If this goes on, we won't be able to earn back this money even if we sell more slaves. F***CK. The money we earn is basically used to pay for her food. Sir, Slave Girl 66 is causing trouble again. She threatened us that if we don't give her food, she'll even eat the entire prison. What should we do now? Oh my God, sir, stop her quickly. Last time she went crazy, she even ate a few of our spaceships. If she continues to eat, the entire base will be eaten by her. Damn it, who is it? Which bastard caught this slave girl? How is she a slave? She's clearly our ancestor. She wants to be our ancestor. What kind of race is she? How can she eat so much? Sir, I've already checked the information. If I'm not wrong, she should be an extremely rare and unique race in this universe, the Tautai race. F***CK, you're 18 generations of ancestors. How dare you capture the Tautai race? Do you F***King want to die? Are you afraid that we have too much money and can't spend it? Don't you know that if the Tautai race starts eating, an entire planet will be eaten by them? Our Feet family looks like a big family, but it's not enough for her to eat. Do you understand? Sir, we didn't capture her. She came to us voluntarily. She said that she'll eat if we give her some food. She'll follow us no matter what. We thought we picked up a big bargain. After all, this girl is very cute and can be sold for a high price. We didn't expect to be tricked. That shameless girl treated us as a long-term meal ticket. She ate all the food in our spaceship and even ate the spaceship in the end. Moreover, we can't get rid of her. She's entangled with us and wants to follow us no matter what. We can't get rid of her and we can't beat her to death. We have no other way. Chapter 1561. At this moment, inside the cage, there was a VIP cell. It was very large, and the cell was filled with food. A little loli who looked to be 5 or 6 years old, wearing a gothic costume, was eating in big mouthfuls. Her stomach was like a bottomless pit, and the food around her was decreasing at a speed visible to the naked eye. She was clearly a slave, but there were no chains on her because she had eaten them all. The people of the Feet clan were also distressed by the value of these chains. They didn't dare to put them on this little loli, for fear that they would become her food again. After a few breaths, the food around her had been completely eaten, and 2 to 3 tons had disappeared. Phew, so hungry. The little loli's stomach was growling. She was still not satisfied. For her, this little bit of food was only a dessert after a meal, and it was about the size of a small steam bun. Soldiers, soldiers, where the hell have you all gone? Where's the food? Why hasn't the food been sent up? Are you going to starve your slaves to death? Don't you know that I'm very valuable? Is this the attitude you treat your noble slaves? The little loli shouted loudly, as if this was not a cage, but a restaurant. The surrounding soldiers all looked down as if they didn't hear anything. They were also very sullen. How is this a slave? This was clearly their master. Their base's food supply for the past few years had been eaten by this fellow. How could they take out any more food? The little loli shouted again, but still no one paid attention to her. In the end, she was so hungry that she lay on the ground. I'm so hungry. This Feet clan has been eaten until they're broke. Looks like I have to find another sucker. The little loli rubbed her deflated stomach and decided that she would continue to find a rich man to be her long-term meal ticket. If she continued to stay here, she was afraid that she would starve to death. Her stomach also began to beat thunderously. Sister, it's so scary. Could this be a monster? How did she eat so much? In the cage next to her, a young female slave from the Rabbit Ear clan looked at the little loli from the Tautai clan with fear. Many young female slaves were also very frightened. Although they were all slaves, it was obvious that this little loli from the Tautai clan was completely different. She was here to be an ancestor. Don't be afraid. Sister will definitely protect you and won't let the monster hurt you. A female angel slave encouraged. She had a pair of white wings on her body that emitted a pure and holy radiance. What are you looking at? Do you believe that I won't eat you right now? The Tautai girl revealed her white teeth. Wah wah. Immediately, many slave girls were scared to tears, hiding in the corner of the cell, shivering. Humph! The little lowly of the Taotai clan snorted coldly and ignored the group of slave girls. She lay on the bed and slept soundly. Her father had told her that she could just sleep when she was hungry. She could forget the feeling of hunger when she slept. Outside the Feet family's base, whoosh, two figures appeared in this place. They were Xiaoping and Duan Chengrue. Is this where the Feet clan keeps their slaves? What a sinful place. From today onwards, it must be destroyed. The Jiesho star will not allow such evil acts to happen. Xiaoping looked down from above. Duan Chengrue's face was as black as charcoal. He had thought of all ways to stop Xiaoping's ridiculous actions, but seemed to be useless. He couldn't even notify the others, because this guy's speed was too fast and his actions were too unexpected. He didn't need to deploy troops, so it was naturally difficult to leak the news. Stop! Someone noticed Xiaoping and Duan Chengrue and immediately shouted, "This is the Feet clan's important place. Unauthorized people are not allowed to come near. Otherwise, they'll be killed." Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. As soon as he said that, the weapon system inside the base was activated. Laser cannons, self-propelled cannons, and other weapons were aimed at the outsiders. It seemed that if Xiaoping and Duan Chengrue did anything wrong, they would be completely killed. Oh no, this guy is the newly appointed leader of the Jiesho Star, Yang Bu. Why is he at our Feet clan's base? In the depths of the base, the person in charge immediately saw the situation outside through the monitor. They were all high-ranking members of the Feet clan. Of course, it was impossible that they didn't know what happened on the Jiesho Star recently. Especially Xiaoping's appearance. They had already sent it to all the high-ranking members of the Jiesho Star. They had to be familiar with this person. He doesn't come with good intentions. A group of Feet clan members had grave expressions. They knew Xiaoping's ferocity last night. He wiped out the cook gang without saying a word. The leader and the elites were all dead. At the moment, the cook gang was a group of dragons without a leader. They were swallowed up by other gangs. With such a ferocious god coming to their Feet clan's base, they couldn't help but worry. I'm the chief executive of the Jiesho Star, Yang Bu. Now I suspect that you are carrying out illegal activities such as smuggling and selling slaves. Xiaoping ordered, "Immediately open the gate of the base for me to inspect. Do a carpet search. If anyone dares to disobey the order, kill without mercy. Don't say I didn't warn you." What? Hearing this, the people of the Feet clan were all dumbfounded. They had been tyrannical on the Jiesho Star for hundreds of years. They had never seen anyone dare to inspect their family's base. He even said that it was illegal activities and wanted to arrest them. This was undoubtedly a huge joke. They had never heard of it. Damn, this Yangbu really wants to deal with our Feet clan. I already said he didn't come with good intentions. You still didn't believe me. What does this kid want to do? He wants to inspect our Feet clan's base? That's just wishful thinking. He even said that it's illegal activities and wants to arrest us. What a joke. If we don't sell slaves, how will our Feet clan earn money in the future? This Yangbu clearly wants our lives. Kill him. We can't let him continue to be arrogant. Yes, let's kill him here and put an end to all troubles. He's bullying our Feet clan. Does he really think that our Feet clan is like those idiots of the cook gang? They can pinch us to death however they want. Activate the base's weapons and kill this kid. The higher-ups of the Feet clan all shouted angrily. They couldn't restrain their anger. Someone actually wanted to invade their Feet clan's base and inspect it wantonly. This was equivalent to wanting their lives. How could they tolerate it? Rumble, the weapons of the entire base were immediately activated. 1,800 laser cannons were all aimed at Xiaoping. At the same time, beams of lasers containing extremely strong penetrative power burst out. It was enough to tear the earth and obliterate the mountains. Tens of thousands of blue lasers shot over. It was like a giant net of death, sealing off all paths of retreat. It's over. This lunatic. I already said that we can't offend the Feet clan. Now that he's cornered, he's going to do something desperate. We're really going to die because of this hothead. Chapter 1562. Very well, you still dare to resist. That means you're attacking the police. You can be executed immediately. Xiaoping nodded, unmoved. He suddenly made a move, his palm turning into a claw. In the depths of the void, a dark golden giant claw immediately stretched out. Endless flame energy gathered at the center of the giant claw. Mysterious and profound flame runes appeared one after another. They were densely packed and exuded an ancient, chaotic, and mighty aura. Those from the Feet clan held their breath when they saw the claw. They felt as if they were watching the birth of a great life, emitting an aura that they couldn't resist. This was like a lower being facing a higher being. In terms of life level, they weren't on the same level. The other party had an overwhelming advantage. Bloodline ability, Infernal Golden Crow Claw. Dong! The claw slammed down, and the incoming laser beam was instantly turned into a ball of energy, dissipating in all directions. The claw even came crashing down, slamming into the base. The base was originally extremely sturdy, made of mica steel, adamantine, memory metal, and other precious materials. It was expensive to build, and it was enough to withstand the all-around bombardment of the spaceship's laser beam. But under this claw, it couldn't withstand it. The moment the claw came crashing down, the entire base cracked inch by inch. More than a dozen cracks appeared, as if the base was going to be flattened and razed to the ground. Under such a strong impact, the weapons placed around the base were instantly blasted into smithereens. All the weapon systems were shattered, and the base was also shaken to pieces. Some of the weaker Feet clan soldiers were all killed, turning into a cloud of blood mist. The tremor spread throughout the surrounding 1,000 kilometers, and sirens rang out in many places. This startled countless people and caused them to guess what had happened. This lunatic, Duan Qingrui, was dumbfounded. Wasn't this bastard here to save the slaves? How could he be so crazy? With a single claw, the entire Feet clan base was destroyed on the spot, as if he didn't care about the lives of the slaves at all. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Hundreds of figures rushed out from the debris. These were the elites of the Feet clan, at least at the treasure refining realm. The strongest was at the pinnacle of the true fire realm. However, there were no golden core realm cultivators. After all, the only golden core realm cultivator in the entire Feet clan was the clan leader. However, the clan leader was not at the base. He had gone somewhere else. Even so, this group of people had gathered most of the Feet clan's elites. Relying on their own strength, they had managed to survive the attack just now. All of them were covered in dirt and grime. They were flustered and exasperated, as though they had gone mad from anger. To them, what happened today was simply an unexpected disaster. He's not dead yet. You're really lucky, but it doesn't matter. None of you will be able to escape. Xiaoping raised his eyebrows and wanted to continue attacking. Wait, where's Yang Budong? Someone immediately shouted. Our Feet family should have no enmity with you. Why did you suddenly attack our base? Was there some kind of misunderstanding? If it's our Feet family's fault, we're willing to apologize, no matter how much it costs. He gave in and hoped that Xiaoping would not make a move. Originally, there was no enmity between us, but you actually activated the weapon system to attack me. Disobeying orders is against the law. This is a crime punishable by death. No one can save you, Xiaoping said. Yang Budong, do you mean to kill us all? I'm warning you. Our Feet family is not that simple. We have people even in the Heaven and Earth sect. If you attack us, you won't have a good ending either. Many people from the Feet family shouted, trying to warn Xiaoping. You talk too much. Die. Xiaoping immediately attacked. Run quickly. Many people from the Feet family were shocked and fled in all directions. They knew that they were no match for a perfected golden core. Staying here would only lead to death. Resisting would also lead to death. Only by running would they have a chance of survival. Only a few of them could survive. Otherwise, all of them would die. Dong, dong, dong. Unfortunately, they had underestimated Xiaoping's strength and speed. His attacks were as fast as lightning, blowing one up with a punch. It was like the roar of a war drum, playing music. When the drumming stopped, all the high-level members of the Feet family present were dead, blown to pieces. This. Seeing such a scene, Duan Qingrui's body trembled. He was terrified. So many powerful elites of the Fiend family were actually killed by Xiaoping alone. Such strength was enough to make one's hair stand on end. Could this be the true strength of a true disciple of the Heaven and Earth sect? Honestly speaking, although he was also a disciple of the Heaven and Earth sect, he was only an outer sect disciple. He couldn't even enter the inner sect. His status was low, and he had never seen what a true disciple was like. Now that he saw it, he felt incomparable despair. He knew that the difference between him and a true disciple was too great, so great that it was boundless. Swoosh! Xiaoping waved his hand and immediately picked up the interspatial rings of these Fiend family members. These people should have quite a lot of spirit stones, spirit herbs, and other treasures on them. Although it wasn't much, no matter how small a mosquito was, it still had some meat. He didn't mind it at all. This base actually has an underground structure. Xiaoping scanned with his divine sense and immediately sensed that although he had destroyed the entire Fiend family's base, it was only the upper level. There were still some underground structures that weren't destroyed. Moreover, the hardness of the underground structures seemed to be far greater than the ones above ground. This was the true important place of this base. It was also the place where they imprisoned the slaves. Dong! Xiaoping stomped his foot lightly and immediately crushed the roof of the underground base. It split open from the middle and revealed a large hole. His figure slowly descended into the underground base. Lord Yang, spare me, spare me. Immediately, the members of the Fiend family in the underground base were so frightened that they knelt on the ground, threw away their weapons, and kowtowed to beg for mercy. They had seen Xiaoping's battle just now through the surveillance cameras. Those powerful senior members of the Fiend family were slaughtered like chickens. 4 low-level members like them. If they dared to be arrogant in the face of a true disciple of the Heaven and Earth sect, they would probably be turned into ashes with a single breath and cease to exist. What is this place? Xiaoping asked. Lord Yang, this is the place where the Fiend family imprisons the top slaves. Now all the slaves are imprisoned here. A member of the Fiend family hurriedly introduced, afraid that he would be killed by this demon if he was a step late. Slaves! Xiaoping looked around and indeed saw many cages. Every cage imprisoned a young lady from various clans. Every single one of them was extremely beautiful and had outstanding temperament. If they were to be auctioned, they would definitely fetch an extremely high price. Whoosh! Chapter 1563. Seeing this little Lolita appear, the surrounding Fiend family members had weird expressions. They immediately recognized that this was the Taotai race girl. They would recognize her even if she turned to dust. They remembered that this little Lolita used this expression to trick them, causing them to foolishly take her in. In the end, a nightmare came and their Fiend family suffered heavy losses. A large portion of the money they earned during this period of time went into this little Lolita's stomach, causing the Fiend family members to complain. They were nearly eaten to the point of collapse. Now that they saw that this big trouble was about to leave and was entangled with this evil Heaven and Earth sect direct disciple, they were overjoyed. But they couldn't laugh, otherwise the other party might notice something was wrong. Adopt you? Xiaoping had a weird expression. He instinctively felt that there was something wrong with this little Lolita. This was a place where slaves were locked up. How could there be a slave girl who could move freely? Moreover, this little Lolita seemed to be very strong. He didn't know how terrifying her strength was. If his body wasn't extremely strong, he would have been sent flying when she pounced on him. One could imagine that this small body contained the power of a god beast. Of course, this little Loli was also extremely cute. She had a pair of big watery eyes, thin lips, a small nose bridge, and creamy skin. Her facial features were exquisite, as if she was a miracle that could only appear in the world. Even her body was extremely hot. She was just a 5 or 6-year-old Lolita, but her size far exceeded that of an adult. If other girls saw this, they would definitely be jealous. The heavens were just too unfair. Right, adopt me. I can do anything. I can eat. I have all the good points you want. I have a soft voice and a soft body. The Taotai race Lolita blinked her big eyes and had a pure expression on her face. She couldn't wait to promote herself. As a member of the Tao Tai race, she had all sorts of unimaginable abilities. Apart from having a dimensional stomach that could swallow everything, she also had a pair of eyes that could find treasures. With this pair of eyes, she could find many mysterious and precious food to fill her stomach. This was called the Tao Tai's eyes. In her eyes, the more precious something was, the brighter the treasure light from her body would be. Ordinary people's treasure light was only the size of a firefly. The stronger ones would only be the size of a candle flame. But the man in front of him was different. The treasure light on his body was so big that it scared people to death. Not only did it cover the entire world head star, but it also spread crazily in all directions. In her entire life, she had never seen anyone with such a brilliant treasure light. Even a saint would not be able to do so. One could imagine that this human man was definitely a nouveau riche, and a super nouveau riche at that. It wasn't something that a country bumpkin like the Fiend clan could compare to. It was like comparing the light of a firefly to the light of the glorious sun. If she could ride on the coattails of such a nouveau riche, then she wouldn't have to worry about being hungry. Xiaoping was a little confused. He couldn't understand what this little lowly was talking about. But before he could say anything, the little girl seemed to be impatient. She grabbed Xiaoping's right index finger and bit it on the spot, causing a drop of blood to flow out. She chanted an ancient incantation. With the great Tao as my witness and the heavens as my witness, I, Tan Menglu of the Tao Tai clan, am willing to serve this person as my master. Regardless of wealth or poverty, sickness or health, degeneration or death, I will follow you forever. Even death will not be able to separate us. Boom! As soon as she finished speaking, it was like the sound of the great Tao, causing the heavens and the earth to resonate. A mysterious and profound ancient contract formation appeared. Golden light shone brightly, covering a radius of dozens of kilometers. Vaguely, there seemed to be an ancient chaotic language appearing, as if witnessing this scene. What? Before Xiaoping could react, the ancient mysterious formation rapidly shrunk, and then was engraved on the back of his right hand. It was a mysterious black pattern, as if it had existed since ancient times. And on the fair and smooth forehead of this little girl, there was also an additional contract rune. It was dark gold in color. Xiaoping instinctively felt the appearance of this contract. Suddenly, the relationship between him and this little girl was pulled closer, as if they had known each other for a long time. He could feel the emotions in the depths of her soul, and their hearts were connected. Boom! The moment the contract was formed, he immediately felt a mysterious, ancient, and powerful black energy from this little girl. It instantly surged into the depths of his purple mansion. This black energy quickly gathered together, and then condensed into a black talisman. The depths of the talisman were like an ancient black hole, producing a terrifying devouring power. Devouring magical power. Xiaoping immediately knew the real identity of this little girl. She was the legendary divine beast Tao Tai, a creature loved by heaven and earth. And this talisman was the unique bloodline magical power of the Tao Tai clan, devouring magical power. Once this magical power was used, it was simply devouring the heavens and the earth, and there was nothing it could not devour. It could take everything in the world as its own, completely refine it, and transform it into pure energy. There was once a saint of demonic path who wanted to imitate and create this devouring magical power, but it was like trying to draw a tiger, but failed. It was completely incomparable to the bloodline magical power of the Tao Tai clan. Originally, this was unique to the Tao Tai clan, but after signing a contract with others, they could give this magical power to the contractor, so that the contractor could also grasp the power of the Tao Tai clan. Xiaoping instinctively reached out his hand, and a small black hole immediately appeared in the center of his right palm. The depths of the black hole were like chaos, slowly rotating. He gently patted it, and it bombarded the ground. Dong! In the next second, a pit with a diameter of tens of meters immediately appeared on the ground. The surrounding soil, sand, and stones all disappeared, completely devoured by this black hole, turning into nothingness. At the same time, he also felt that the energy after devouring and refining was transmitted into his body, causing the power in his body to increase a little and his magic power to increase. It really is a demonic magical power. Xiaoping was shocked. He finally knew why there was a saint of demonic path who wanted to create a devouring magical power. It was really too terrifying. Not only could it devour everything, but could also refine the energy of everything into its own energy. With this magical power, it could probably be like a giant of demonic path, devouring everything to strengthen its body and increase its cultivation. This would lead to endless killing. Oh no, I was tricked. The corner of Xiaoping's mouth twitched. He suddenly remembered that this little girl was from the Taodai clan. Although this magical power was powerful, the problem was it so easy to raise a Taodai? Ordinary people couldn't afford it all. There was once a saint family that tried to raise a Taodai, but not long after, the entire family was eaten by the Taodai, and they were completely bankrupt. No matter how huge the wealth was, it couldn't stop the appetite of the Taodai. Chapter 1564. There were people in the universe who knew the benefits of signing a contract with the Taodai race. The problem was that they couldn't afford the price of raising a Taodai. Even if a saint wanted to raise one, they would have to think twice in fear of being eaten by the other party. One could imagine that the Taodai race had already become a race that the entire universe feared. Everyone was afraid that the other party would find them. It was even scarier than scamming people. Luckily, there were very few Taodai race members. Otherwise, it would be a disaster. Damn. Xiaoping's mouth twitched. He had scammed countless people, but he didn't expect to be scammed by a little lowly today. She forced him to sign a contract. The surrounding Fiend family members were all overjoyed. They finally got rid of this huge problem of their family and pushed her out. In the future, there would no longer be a Taodai that would eat away their family's money. They looked at Xiaoping with incomparable pity. Even though this fellow was a heaven and earth sect successor disciple, how could he afford to raise a Taodai? Most likely, it wouldn't be long before he became poor from eating, becoming a pauper even poorer than them. Big brother, bring me to eat. Tan Menglu blinked her pure eyes, indicating that she was hungry. Xiaoping gritted his teeth. She was clearly scamming him. However, he was helpless. After all, both parties had signed a contract. He couldn't just ignore her. He could only accept it. Wait, let's settle this first. He waved his hand and came to the front of the cages. With a slap, the cages were shattered and the girls were rescued. We're out. Someone saved us. This is great. Finally, there are kind-hearted people who came to save us. Woo-woo. As expected, there are still good people in this universe. Many girls were overjoyed and started crying. They didn't expect that they would be freed from their slave status one day. It was like a dream. The surrounding Fiend family members felt pained. These girls were worth a lot of money. Now that they were all snatched away by this guy, the Fiend family would definitely suffer a huge loss. However, they didn't dare to say anything. They were afraid that they would be slapped to death if they angered this demon. Sir, thank you for saving us. A young girl from the angel race walked over and spoke to Xiaoping with gratitude. The other girls also walked over timidly. You're welcome. Xiaoping rubbed his chin as he sized up the group of girls and said, From today onwards, all of you are my slaves, my property. Remember to be obedient, understand? Otherwise, I'll eat you. He revealed a ferocious look. What? Many of the girls were scared half to death. Seeing Xiaoping's savage gaze, they were in despair. How was this a great hero who had saved them? He was clearly a bandit who raped women. They had just escaped from the wolf's den and entered the tiger's lair. But in the face of this tyrant, they had no power to resist, so they could only obediently obey. By the way, are there any treasures in this base? Xiaoping turned around and looked at the group of Fiend clan members beside him. He still wanted to plunder this base. As the saying goes, a thief never leaves empty-handed. He wouldn't come here for nothing. There's nothing else. This base is only used to imprison slaves. There are no treasures here. A group of Fiend clan members swore solemnly. expressing that there were no treasures here. They're lying. Tan Menglu immediately exposed their lies. At the end of this base, there are many warehouses filled with many good things. There seems to be more than 10 tons of 10 millennia cold iron, 10 tons of black crystal, 5 to 6 tons of tidal jade, and other rare materials. Other than that, there are also many spiritual herbs, such as golden ginseng, black lotus, and silver leaf grass. They're all good spiritual herbs that are at least 1,000 years old and have amazing medicinal effects. She was very familiar with the treasures in this place. F*CK. How did you know? The group of Feet clan members were dumbfounded. They couldn't believe what their ears had just heard. This little girl seemed to know more about the treasures in this base than they did. There are no treasures in this world that can hide from me. Tan Menglu's eyes. No matter how well they hide, it's useless. Tan Menglu said disdainfully. She had originally planned to eat up the Feet clan's food and the materials in the Feet clan's treasury, then leave. But now that she had a tycoon as her master, she didn't care about this small profit. I see. It seems like there are many treasures in this base. Not bad. They're all mine. Xiaoping's eyes instantly lit up as he walked deeper into the underground base. No way. This is the savings of our Feet clan. You can't take it away. You can't just take it away like this, you shameless demon. The group of Feet clan members broke down and wanted to stop Xiaoping. Bang! Before these people could make a move, Xiaoping sent them flying with a slap, and they all fainted. Walala, an hour later, Xiaoping and Tan Menglu looted all the treasures in this base. The 10 millennia cold iron, black crystal, and other materials were all thrown into the spatial ring. That's right, Master, the materials in this base are also very good. They're all made of mica steel, white gold star stone, adamantine, and other materials. They can be sold for a high price. I think we should take them all away. Tan Menglu suggested. Not bad. This is a good suggestion. It seems like you are very experienced. Xiaoping's eyes lit up, and he looked at Tan Menglu with praise. Thank you for your praise, Master. This is just something I heard from others. I definitely don't do such things often. Tan Menglu said humbly. Stop talking nonsense. Hurry up and help. Xiaoping turned into a demolition worker and started to dismantle the entire base. He didn't care what the materials were and just took them away. Oh my God! The Feet clan members who were slowly waking up saw this scene. The originally luxurious and sturdy base was actually demolished by this starred, and a huge hole was dug out. The steel, materials, outer shell, and even weapon fragments were all taken away by this starred. He didn't even let a single screw go. How is this robbing? This is moving. Duan Qingrui's mouth twitched. How is this a heaven and earth sect direct disciple? He was clearly a bandit who came from God knows where. He was even more ruthless than these gangsters and greedier than interstellar pirates. He felt pity for the Feet clan. Perhaps the Feet clan had never thought that someone would rob them and take away their entire base, leaving nothing behind. This master is so scary. Chapter 1565. After another hour, Xiaoping and the others had already left the base and returned to the mansion. At this time, the patriarch of the Feet clan and the other higher-ups finally arrived. They couldn't believe their eyes when they arrived at this important base. There should have been a base of tens of kilometers here, but now it was all gone. There was even a 100-meter deep hole in the ground. It was as if the entire base had been dug away, leaving only some ruins. They immediately saw a group of guards from the Feet clan and hurriedly went up to ask, Who did it? Who did it? Where's my base? Where did it go? The patriarch of the Feet clan was furious and questioned the group of guards. Reporting to the patriarch, it's Yang Bu. It's the new ball leader, Yang Bu. A member of the Feet clan shouted. He came to our base and accused us of illegal slave trading. He wanted to arrest us, but we didn't fight back and were annihilated. The base leader and the others also died because they resisted. What? Hearing this, the patriarch of the Feet clan felt weak and almost collapsed to the ground. One should know that those were the elites of the Feet clan. Now that they were all dead, it was a great loss for the clan. After all, talents were hard to come by, especially those who were loyal and devoted. It was even harder to find them. Even if the base leader and the others were annihilated, where did our base go? Why is there only a big hole here? The patriarch of the Feet clan couldn't believe his eyes. The originally magnificent base now only had a hole left. It was simply unacceptable. Patriarch, it was all taken away by that bastard. A member of the Feet clan cried, "You don't know how cruel that bastard is. He takes everything he sees, digs what he can't take away, and eats what he can't dig away. Even a flood isn't as scary as him. This guy is definitely the reincarnation of a Tautai, the kind that plucks every goose's feathers." Right now, the entire base hasn't been emptied, and even the treasures left in the base's warehouse have been completely plundered by him. Damn Yang Boo Boo, you and I can't live under the same sky. The patriarch of the Feet clan was so furious that he spat out a mouthful of blood. In order to build this base, the Feet clan had expended a lot of manpower and resources. The materials used were also of the highest quality. But now, all of them had been dug away by this bastard, and not even a screw was left. How cruel was this? Did he still have any humanity left? Even robbers weren't so despicable. Patriarch, we can't let this guy do whatever he wants. Inform the Medlin family immediately. They dare to destroy our Feet family's base this time. Next time, he will dare to destroy all of us. The deputy patriarch of the Feet clan gritted his teeth. You're right. Inform the Medlin family. This is no longer our family's business. I must kill that bastard, Yang Bolin. I want him dead. The patriarch of the Fett family had never hated someone so much in his life. This was the first time he hated someone so much. An hour later, all the members of the Feet clan had arrived at the Medlin clan's base. Old Patriarch Blunt, you must control that bastard, Yang Boo Boo. He has nothing better to do all day. So he came to our Feet family's base to make trouble. He killed people and set fires. He's King, killing people and setting fires. He's lawless. Is there anyone like him? He's not a leader at all. He's simply a beast, a bandit. The patriarch of the Feet family cried and complained about Yang Boo Boo's evil deeds. Well, didn't I tell you? You have to endure for a while. Now is not the time to deal with him. The corner of Blunt's mouth twitched. He didn't expect the successor disciple of the Chinquin sect to be so arrogant. He had already started a deal with the Feet family on the second day. This was far beyond his expectations. Wait? Wait for what? Wait until all our people are in the coffin before dealing with him? I can't wait for a King second. I want to kill that bastard now. The patriarch of the Feet family was furious. Do you know what that bastard did in our Feet family's base? Not only did he kill dozens of senior cadres of the Feet family, but he also plundered all the treasures and slaves in the base. This bastard is King doing demolition. The whole base has been completely dismantled by him. Even the screws were not spared. His appetite is simply bigger than Tao Yes. By the way, he also snatched a slave girl of the Tautai clan from my base. He has no sense of shame. He's robbing a civilian girl. Can't you control him? At the thought of the loss of the Feet family this time, he was fuming with anger and flew into a rage. Well, don't you want to go to his mansion to protest? Blunt asked. Protest? Damn you. I've already sent people over to denounce him, but they were all beaten up. He even arranged for us to be charged with trespassing and detained our people. He even wanted us to compensate for his mental damage. Damn, this bastard is crazy about money. He's going everywhere to extort people. At the mention of this topic, the patriarch of the Feet family was filled with anger and was on the verge of exploding. Old Feet, it's not that I don't want to help you, but the plan is still in progress. I can't mess up the big picture just because of you. I deeply sympathize with your experience, but there's nothing I can do now. Blunt said in a low voice, don't act rashly during this period of time. Temporarily stop the slave trade. Don't give him an excuse to deal with you. Bear with it for a while and take a step back. Everything will be fine. You have to consider the big picture. He tried his best to dissuade him. Take care of your sister's big picture. The patriarch of the Feet family scolded, it's not your Medlin family that's suffering losses, but my Feet family. Of course you can make sarcastic remarks. He was furious. His Feet family had already suffered heavy losses with countless casualties, but this bastard still wanted him to bear with it. Take care of the big picture? Take care of the big picture, my ass. Old feet. I'm giving you face, but you don't want it. Blunt snorted coldly. What can you do even if you bear with it? Are you really going to fight to the death with that kid? It's not that I'm looking down on your feet family, but it's impossible for you to deal with that kid with your strength. If you act rashly, I'm afraid it won't just be this base that will be destroyed, but your entire family will be eradicated. Go ahead if you want to die, but don't implicate others. He was too lazy to speak to the other party politely and directly shed all pretense of cordiality. The patriarch of the Feet family, was speechless. He also knew that Yang Budong's terrifying strength was definitely at the Golden Core realm. It was simply a pipe dream to kill him with their strength. Perhaps they might even be destroyed by him. All of a sudden, their hearts turned cold. How old are you, and you're still impulsive like a youngster? Can impulsiveness solve problems in this era? Bear with it for a while, and see how long he can laugh, Blunt said in a low voice. Chapter 1566. At this moment, World Headstar Mansion, Mountain River Pearl Space. What is this place? The slave girls left Feet Base and followed Xiaoping back to World Headstar Mansion. Then they suddenly appeared in a strange space world. They felt very uneasy. This is the world you will live in the future. You have to stay here and help manage the medicine fields, spirit grains, and so on. Be my coolies, Xiaoping said with a serious face. He said the reason he brought the 50 slave girls to this space. While the Green Bull could manage the Mountain River Pearl Space alone, there were still some details he could not manage. For example, taking care of the medicine fields, making pills, and so on still needed manpower. So he caught these slave girls and gave them to the Green Bull to manage. They will be the managers here. In fact, this was the best choice for this group of slave girls. Because some of their families were broken up, some of their races were extinct on their planets, some were too far away and could not return, and they were very weak. If they did not have Xiaoping's protection, once they left this place, they would probably be caught by others and become slaves. Their fates would probably be many times worse than now. Manage the medicine fields, spirit grains? You want us to be farmers, not maids? I heard we have to sleep with them. A rabbit-ear girl blinked her large eyes. Really? Do you want to sleep with them and have been thirsty for a long time? Xiaoping was expressionless. He went up and rubbed her rabbit ears. They were very soft. The rabbit girl screamed, her face red. Her white face was almost cooked. To the rabbit ear race, the ears were undoubtedly the most sensitive place. Bad guy, let go of the rabbit ear's sister. An angel girl jumped out and stared angrily at Xiaoping. Xiaoping touched his chin and looked the angel girl up and down. You are from the angel race? So strange. Are these real wings? The feathers feel good. He reached out and touched the wings on her back. They felt very soft and contained holy power. They were formed from energy and gave off a special wave that made people feel at ease. Legend had it that the angel race all had holy light power that could heal people's hearts. Now it looked like it was true. Moreover, they liked to appear on various primitive planets to perform miracles. Therefore, their legends were spread on various major planets, and people mistook them as a race of gods. However, putting aside the legends, the angel race itself was also an incredibly powerful race. They occupied an important position in the Western universe, and they could rival the demon race, diamond race, azure race, and other races. You rude person. The angel girl's pretty face instantly turned red like a monkey's butt. She flapped her wings and suddenly jumped far away from Xiaoping's side. It seemed as if she was looking at a super demon. The wings of the angel race were incomparably sacred. How could they be touched so easily? This was undoubtedly touching the most important part of their body. It was no different from sexual intercourse. Don't bully Sister Angel. At this moment, a girl of about 11 or 12 years old angrily ran over. She was about 5 meters tall. She kicked Xiaoping, trying to stop him. However, her strength was too weak. To Xiaoping, it was like a mosquito bite, unable to move her at all. Instead, she fell to the ground in a sorry state. He's bald? Could it be that you're from the Luohan race? I heard that the men of the Luohan race are basically bald donkeys, and the women are all nuns. None of them have long hair. I didn't expect it to be true. Xiaoping looked at the cute bald girl curiously. He reached out and touched her little head, feeling that it was very textured. This was the first time he had seen a bald girl. What are you doing?" The Luohan girl's pretty face turned red. She was extremely shy. No one had touched her head like this before. She bared her fangs and brandished her claws, trying to resist. However, Xiaoping held her head down with one hand. She could only use her small hands and arms to dance around in the air, unable to attack Xiaoping. This situation infuriated her even more. Xiaoping continued to study this group of slave girls. They seemed to be from various major races of the Western universe, and there were many rare ones. However, he soon lost interest. "Green Ox, I'll leave the rest to you. Teach them well." Xiaoping waved his hand. Whoosh! Immediately, the Green Ox appeared in front of Xiaoping and said respectfully, "Yes, master. Leave it to me." He was also very satisfied with the slaves that Xiaoping had captured. After all, the space of the mountain and river pearl was constantly expanding. Although he was the artifact spirit of the mountain and river pearl, there were some areas that were beyond his power. In fact, even when the mountain and river saint was alive, many loyal servants would appear in the space of the mountain and river pearl to help take care of the spirit herbs, spirit grains, and so on. "Come with me. This will be your place to live in the future," the Green Ox said to the 50 slave girls. Then, he brought the group of people away. Seeing that this group of people had left his field of vision, Xiaoping no longer paid them any attention. He turned to look at the girl from the Taotai race, Tan Menglu, who was rolling around in a field of crystal rice. She let out happy and satisfied cries, like a little pig. "Oh my God, isn't this crystal rice? How can there be so much? So much food grows here. This is heaven. This is definitely the heaven of the legends." Originally, the lowly Tan Menglu from the Taotai race had entered the space of the mountain and river pearl. She was still curious about what this place was. But soon, she abandoned this idea because she suddenly saw a lot of crystal fragrant rice growing here, and the rich aroma of food pervaded the air. She felt as if she had come to heaven. She cheered and instantly pounced on a pile of rice. She wanted to sleep in the pile of rice every day. Every day, she would be able to stuff herself with rice the moment she opened her eyes. Just thinking about such a life made her feel extremely happy. Looks like the cultivation of crystal rice has been done well. Xiaoping also saw the surrounding fields. They were lush and green, and he was very satisfied with the Green Ox's work. After this period of cultivation by the Green Ox, in addition to the large amount of underworld soil obtained for the previous secret realm, the amount of 9 heaven-growing soil had increased tremendously. It had almost grown exponentially. The cultivation of crystal rice had already reached 10 million square kilometers. It had grown 3 times as much as before, and it was still expanding. Just this area alone had surpassed the land area of China in his previous life. Chapter 1567. Yummy, such delicious food. Tan Menglu was very excited and kept eating the fragrant crystal rice. Every grain contained abundant energy. She also knew how precious the fragrant crystal rice was. It would only appear on the dining tables of the rich and powerful families. Ordinary restaurants would not sell it, and it was very expensive. Now, there was so much fragrant crystal rice, and she could eat it freely. Even in her dreams, she had never had such a beautiful dream. It was as if she had come to heaven. She ate this meal for 2 hours and ate 10 tons of fragrant crystal rice. Her stomach was bloated, and she lay on the ground like a balloon, motionless. So full. Tan Menglu had a blissful expression on her face. Ever since she was young, she had never experienced what it meant to be full. This was the first time she had experienced what it meant to be full. Although the stomach of a Taodai was said to be a bottomless pit, it actually had a limit. However, Tan Menglu was only a child now, so her stomach had not reached the limit of the Taodai race. She could continue to grow, and then she could truly devour stars. Only 10 tons? That's okay. Xiaoping instantly heaved a sigh of relief. If Tan Menglu ate 10 tons of fragrant crystal rice a day, That would be 300 tons a month and 3,600 tons a year. This was a drop in the ocean compared to the current production of fragrant crystal rice. Even if Tanmenglu could continue to grow, and her appetite would continue to grow, the cultivation of fragrant crystal rice would also continue to expand, and there was no need to worry that it could not keep up with Tanmenglu's appetite. He also knew why the Taotai race was so fearsome that even a saint-level family could not afford to raise them. After all, which family could afford to eat 10 tons of fragrant crystal rice a day? If there were people in the universe who could afford to raise a Taotai, it would probably be an alchemy grandmaster like the Mountain River Sage, who was good at growing spirit grains and spirit herbs, and had a small world as a backing. Otherwise, ordinary people would definitely be eaten by a Taotai. Suddenly, Xiaoping felt a huge and pure energy coming from the depths of the void. He immediately knew that it was coming from Tanmenglu. Their contract formed a void passage, and this pure energy was transmitted from this void tunnel, seeping into his limbs and bones. The spiritual power in his body increased at a visible rate, and the seawater in his purple mansion space rose rapidly, almost filling this empty space. Is this the energy that the Taotai clan refined? Xiaoping's eyes revealed a trace of bright light. After he signed the contract with the Taotai clan, not only would he be able to obtain the bloodline ability of the Taotai clan, if the Taotai clan was able to devour energy, they would even transfer a portion of the overflowing energy to him to assist him in his cultivation. Moreover, after this energy was refined by the Taotai, all of the impurities were cleanly removed, and only the source energy was left. There were no side effects, and the benefits were endless. It could greatly increase the rate at which one's magic power increased, just like consuming a 10,000-year-old elixir. Crash. After a short while, Xiaoping felt that the magic power in his body had almost been raised to the limit. He immediately knew that he had advanced to the peak of the early-stage golden core realm. He was merely a step away from breaking through to the intermediate stage of the golden core realm. He could touch the bottleneck of the mid-stage golden core realm. However, because the energy required to advance to the intermediate stage of the golden core realm was too enormous, merely this little bit of energy was insufficient to help him advance to the intermediate stage of the golden core realm. Presently, he was still in the process of accumulating energy. I didn't expect there to be such benefits. Xiaoping touched his chin. With the Taotai by his side, it was equivalent to him having an additional cultivation tool that could speed up his cultivation. The Taotai could help him refine various kinds of energy and improve his magic power, which saved him a lot of time to condense his magic power. The problem was that such a method of advancement was not something that anyone could use. Only those who were rich enough, and who could squander money everywhere, could do it. This was simply a method of advancement for the rich. It was too extravagant. Probably even if someone knew of such a cultivation method, they would not dare to use it. It was simply unimaginable to raise a Taotai and let it eat its fill every day. In the past 10 days, Xiaoping had been immersed in cultivation, slowly refining the energy, improving his magic power, and accumulating the energy to break through to the intermediate stage of the golden core realm. He did not pay attention to what was happening in the outside world. However, this behavior made the Macklin family and the others very anxious because they had designed a trap for Xiaoping in the outside world. Now, this kid did not come out and was holed up in the mansion. What's going on? That kid hasn't come out of the mansion yet. Yeah, he has been staying in the mansion for more than 10 days, and I have not seen him take a step out. Previously, he was so arrogant to deal with the Fett family. I thought he would continue to deal with other forces, but I didn't expect him to not do anything. Could it be that he thinks that destroying a branch of the Fett family can deter us? No, we can't continue like this. Now that the senior cadres of the Red Scarf Thieves have arrived at the World Head Star, their time is limited, and there are many tasks that they need to do. They can't stay in this place for a long time. Without the help of the senior cadres of the Red Scarf Thieves, we probably can't kill him. I think it's better to kill our way into the mansion and kill him directly. Why wait here? Idiot, if we could do it, we would have done it long ago. This mansion is the base of the Qinquan sect, and it is surrounded by restrictive formations. It is the enemy's lair. If we go in, wouldn't we be walking into a trap? Don't underestimate the traps set by a golden core master. Indeed, once we alert the enemy, although that young Budong isn't our match, it is still possible for him to escape. If we can't kill him, it is the same as poking the hornet's nest. That's right, so we must kill him in one strike and not give him a chance to live. Everyone discussed with ugly expressions. They didn't expect such an accident to happen. All right, since he doesn't want to come out, why don't we find a chance to lure him out? Someone suggested. I heard that he recently raised a Taodai clan female servant, and their relationship is not bad. If that female servant leaves the mansion and something happens outside, I don't believe that he will continue to stay in a mansion and not come out. Not bad. This idea is not bad, but how do we lure that female servant out? This is simple. That is a Taodai clan female servant. We can just give her some food and she will leave. There is no need to go through so much trouble. Leave it to Duan Qingrui. He is very familiar with this. There shouldn't be any big problems. That young Budong will be dead soon. He still dares to show off in the World Head Star. He is simply courting death. Chapter 1568. Are they finally getting impatient? In a quiet room, Xiaoping suddenly opened his eyes. Through the system, he sensed the murderous intent of the Medlin family and the others towards him, as well as the plan of this group of people against him. Since they want to find a place to ambush me, then I'll help them. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. This group of people wanted to ambush him, but how could he not want to find a chance to catch all the elites of this group of underworld families in one fell swoop? If all the perfected Jindan of this group of underworld families were destroyed, it was estimated that no force in the entire World Head Star would be able to compete with him. They could only bow down to him. Moreover, this group of people ambushing him gave him an excuse to deal with the Medlin family and the others. Menglu. Thinking of this, Xiaoping grabbed Tan Menglu, who was staying in the space of the Pearl of Mountain and River, out. She was now eating rice in big mouthfuls, and her cheeks were almost full. She looked at Xiaoping angrily. Scoundrel, what are you doing? I'm eating. Eating every day? You're almost becoming a pig, Xiaoping said. Tan Menglu said disdainfully, I'm a Tao Tai. I have a body that won't get fat no matter how much I eat. You're good. But soon you'll have a chance to have a big meal. Later, someone will invite you to leave the mansion for a meal. Don't refuse, just say yes, Xiaoping said. Hearing this, Tan Menglu was very excited. There's actually a kind person who wants to invite me to a meal? Which idiot is it? No, it should be a philanthropist. She had never encountered such a thing in her life. She had never dared to invite a Tao Tai to a meal. To be honest, even a meal was enough to make an ordinary rich person go bankrupt. Now, there was actually a fool who wanted to invite her to a meal. It was simply incredible. The other party will appear soon. Just wait. Xiaoping smiled slightly. Sure enough, the next day, Tan Menglu was playing around in the mansion, and soon Duan Qingrui came in sneakily. He pretended to take Tan Menglu out to enjoy the food of the World Head Star, hoping that the two sides could have a good relationship. Hearing this, Tan Menglu's eyes immediately lit up. She immediately thought of Xiaoping's words and agreed to Duan Qingrui's invitation without hesitation. If someone invited her to dinner, she would be a fool not to go. Although eating the crystal fragrant rice could fill her stomach now, she still had to eat some other food from time to time. She was from the great Tao Tai clan. Not only did she have a huge appetite, she was also a gourmet. She was very picky when it came to food. When they arrived at a restaurant, Tan Menglu blinked and looked at Duan Qingrui. Are you really going to treat me to a meal, no matter what? Yes, feel free to eat. Duan Qingrui was very generous. After all, he was not eating with his own money, so there was no need to be generous at other people's expense. Waiter, give me 100 steaks, 100 steamed buns, 100 pizzas, 100 hamburgers. That's all for now. Let's order some appetizers first. Tan Menglu immediately ordered 100 servings of each item on the menu. Duan Qingrui was dumbfounded. So many dishes were just appetizers. Oh my God, if this was the main course, how much could this little lowly eat? In the dark, the right clan members had a lingering fear. They had raised this little lowly for a period of time, but in the end, they suffered heavy losses. Several years of food had been eaten up, and the clan had almost gone bankrupt. An hour later, the surrounding bowls and plates had piled up like a small mountain. The restaurant chef had cramped up and collapsed on the ground. All the ingredients had been consumed, and it was time to close the restaurant early. This restaurant is not bad. I can come here often in the future. Lu rubbed her stomach. She was very satisfied. After eating so much, she could be considered to be 30% full. Most importantly, she had eaten 3 tons of crystal fragrant rice before coming to the restaurant. At this moment, a group of people surrounded them fiercely. "Little girl, may I ask if you can pay the bill now?" The restaurant owner said with a fake smile. Lu waved her hand. "Don't worry, there is someone here who can pay the bill." "Hey, where did that wretched uncle go? When did he disappear? Could it be that I ate too much and he was afraid that he couldn't pay, so he ran away?" She looked around, but she couldn't find any trace of Duan Qingrui. She didn't know when he had quietly left. "Little girl, what is the meaning of this? No one is paying. Don't tell me you want to dine and dash." The restaurant owner's expression was unfriendly. Hearing this, Lu felt very guilty. "Don't worry, I am very rich. No, my master is very rich. I will give him a call later, and he will definitely pay for me. If there is nothing else, I will go back and inform him." Her movements were very practiced. It was obvious that she was used to eating and dashing. She wanted to lift her feet and run away. "Little girl, you should come with me to the police station. If there is anything, wait for your master to come." A group of people surrounded them. Someone immediately called the police, saying that someone was eating and dashing. Just like that, Lu was caught and brought to the police station. Very soon, someone came to inform Ping of this matter, saying that his slave had eaten and dashed at the restaurant and wanted to leave without paying. He had been arrested and brought to the police station for interrogation. "What do you mean? There's a police station on this planet?" Ping asked. "Indeed there is." The man was very embarrassed. Although this planet was controlled by the major underworld families, there were also their own formal administrative agencies responsible for managing and maintaining the security environment of this planet. "Forget it. Take me to see what is going on. They even dare to arrest my people. Are those policemen tired of living? Don't they know that she is my people?" Ping was very aggressive and angry. He lifted his feet and walked to the police station. Some of the people who were monitoring around were very excited. Finally, this kid left the mansion. This time, the plan had succeeded. It was foolproof, and they were just waiting for this kid to step into the trap. 10 minutes later, Ping stepped into the police station and immediately saw Lu sitting on a chair. There were dozens of policemen around her watching and waiting. "Mr. Yang." Many policemen also immediately recognized Ping's identity, and they were all very nervous. After all, the other party was an absolute big shot on this world leader planet. If it wasn't because of the pressure from the Medlin family and others, they were not willing to provoke the other party. "What the hell is going on? Why did you arrest my people?" Ping looked at the crowd with an unfriendly expression. "Because this lady just ate and didn't pay, and she wanted to leave. She wants to eat and dash." The police chief felt great pressure, and cold sweat appeared on his forehead. Chapter 1569. Hearing this, the policemen were so angry that they wanted to vomit blood. If one couldn't be arrested for eating and dashing, then what other crime could they not be arrested for? Once this was done, no one would pay for their meals in the restaurant. This guy still had the cheek to talk about the law with them. They were clearly the biggest source of lawlessness. They had never seen such a shameless person. What an arrogant and despotic bastard. He was even more despicable than these gangsters. Even some rich second generations and playboys couldn't compare to this bastard. He was so unreasonable. The group of people who were secretly observing were also dumbfounded. "Sorry, Sir Yang." Although the policemen cursed in their hearts, they didn't dare to offend him. Those who dared to offend him were all killed by this heaven and earth sect direct disciple. The blood of Feet family and Cook gang proved how savage this guy was. If they dared to say anything back, they probably wouldn't be able to see the sun tomorrow. "Sorry? Is your apology meant for me to hear?" You can't even find out who should be apologizing. So how can I count on you to catch thieves and maintain law and order? What did you waste the taxpayers' money on? Do you even have the ability to distinguish right from wrong? Xiaoping shouted. Damn, this bastard was asking for a yard after giving him an inch. The policemen were so angry that they felt like they were suffocating. This was clearly a slap to their faces in front of everyone, but they could only bear with it and didn't dare to say anything. Sorry, Miss Tan. The policemen lowered their heads and apologized to Taminglu. Taminglu had a weird expression. This was the first time she had encountered such a thing. She was the one who ate and dashed, but a bunch of policemen apologized to her. This was really rare. It's okay. There won't be a next time. I will forgive all of you this time, Taminglu said generously. She rolled her eyes and wondered if she should go down and eat and dash again. Anyway, no one dared to take her money. Is there anything else? Xiaoping asked. No, nothing. This case is over. Sir Yang can leave. The chief quickly said, wanted to send this plague away. It's good that you are fine. Next time, don't find such small things to trouble me. Do you know that I'm a busy person? Xiaoping nodded and brought Taminglu out of the police station. Why is there no one around? Taminglu found it very strange. She realized that there was not a single person on the bustling streets. It was empty, and there were pieces of white paper floating on the ground. There's no one in broad daylight. It seems like the World Head Star is finished. There's no one doing business. Xiaoping said carelessly. Whoosh. As soon as he finished speaking, figures flew out from the surrounding buildings, each of them giving off an aura that could shake the heavens and earth. As they walked over, it was as if the heavens and earth were shaking and stars were falling from the sky. Leading them was the patriarch of the meddling clan, Blunt, and the leaders of the other 6 mafia families. All of them were Golden Core realm cultivators. Apart from the patriarchs of the underworld families, there were 6 or 7 unfamiliar Golden Cores. They had the aura of a mountain of corpses and a sea of blood that was almost tangible. They were surrounded by vengeful spirits, and it was unknown how many innocent people they had killed. The strength of these people was even more terrifying than Blunt and the others, as if they were man-killer fiends. Patriarch of the meddling clan, Blunt, why did you bring so many people here? Are you here to welcome me? Xiaoping stood with his hands behind his back, looking indifferently at the group of uninvited guests. Yang Budong, don't play dumb here. You killed so many brothers of my Feet clan. Today is the day you die. The patriarch of the Feet clan jumped out and cursed. His eyes were filled with hatred. He could not live under the same sky as Xiaoping. That's right, Yang Budong. You have been tyrannical on the World Head Star and committed all sorts of crimes, causing the people to be angry. Today you will die without a doubt. No one can save you. Don't even think about escaping. The inescapable snare formation has long been set up to seal the sky and lock the earth. It covers 1,000 miles. With your strength, it is absolutely impossible to escape from the range of this formation. Even if you are a direct disciple of the Heaven and Earth sect, you won't be able to escape death today. You still want to come to my Heaven and Earth star to show off? What a joke. We will let you see the strength of this universe. The World Head Star is definitely not a place where a small direct disciple like you can do whatever you want. Many of the leaders of the underworld clenched their teeth, their eyes filled with cruelty. They looked at Xiaoping as if they were looking at a dead man, their killing intent surging. In order to kill this strong enemy, they had endured for a long time. Now, they finally found the chance. So that's how it is. The reason why you did so many things, so many plans, was to set up a trap to kill me. You guys are really daring. Xiaoping stood with his hands behind his back, looking indifferently at this group of people. That's right. After all, you are a direct disciple of the Heaven and Earth sect. Even if you are only at the beginning stage of the Golden Core realm, you have endless means and countless treasures. I feel that it will be extremely difficult to kill you, so I set up this trap. Blunt looked at Xiaoping curiously. But since you know that you have fallen into a trap, why don't you escape? Maybe you still have a chance to live. We might not be able to kill you. He felt that this kid in front of him was too calm. He didn't look like someone who had fallen into a trap and was on the verge of death. Escape. Hearing this, Xiaoping instantly laughed. You guys are the true frogs at the bottom of the well. You have stayed in the world head star for too long and don't know the true terror of this universe. You think that you can kill me with numbers, formations, and traps? What a joke. You guys don't know what a true expert is. The number of people doesn't mean anything to me. You guys want to surround and kill me. But how can I not want to kill all of you in one fell swoop? I can use this chance to kill all of you, the cancer of the world head star. Once and for all, it will save me time. He looked down at this group of people like he was looking at a bunch of ants. As expected of a direct disciple of the heaven and earth sect. Even at such a time, you are still so confident. But how long can you maintain this confidence for? Blunt laughed coldly. He was a shrewd person and wouldn't be affected by a few words from Xiaoping. He felt that Xiaoping would definitely die this time. No matter how he struggled, he would die. Stupid people, you guys don't know how weak you are. Feel your helplessness, die in fear, and fall into hell. With a loud boom, Xiaoping took a step forward and punched out. Instantly, the heavens and earth trembled. Stars fell from the sky, tearing apart the void. Everything within a radius of 1,000 miles trembled. The entire planet seemed to be shaking. Everyone present could feel how terrifying this punch was. It was like it contained the power of a star, able to destroy heaven and earth. Set up the formation. Immediately set up the formation. Chapter 1570. In an instant, under Blunt's shout, the surrounding martial artists acted swiftly, activating the killing formations that were laid out one after another. The name of the killing formation was 7 Layers of 7 Kills Formation. Rumble, one after another, the formations appeared and stacked on top of each other. It was as though an infinite amount of killing intent had gathered together, containing a terrifying killing intent that absorbed the malevolent aura within a radius of tens of thousands of kilometers. The moment the 7 Layers of 7 Kills formation was formed, wisps of killing intent burst out like a terrifying sword chi that descended and destroyed tens of thousands of stars. Da Yong Budong, Blunt, and the rest looked ferocious and murderous. They circulated their dermic powers and activated the formation to attack. This was the trump card that they had been preparing for many days, 7 Layers of 7 Kills formation. Once the formation was successfully set up, it could absorb endless killing intent and crush them layer by layer. Even a golden core perfected being would be crushed into powder. Even if a golden core perfected being wanted to self-destruct his golden core, he would be quickly killed by the killing intent of the formation. Wave after wave of killing intent permeated the air, enough to shatter any supernatural power. Even the golden cores who set up the formation were extremely fearful of the formation. If they dared to enter the core of the formation, they would be instantly killed by the killing intent and die a tragic death. Not only did you gather more than 10 golden cores to kill me, you even set up a killing formation. You guys are really as timid as mice. But do you think that you can kill me just like that? How naive. Xiaoping sneered and punched out. Tao Tai's supernatural power, devour. Boom! In the next second, a huge Tao Tai appeared in the void. It opened its mouth and a cloud of black mist spread out, turning into a huge black hole that produced a terrifying vortex that devoured the heaven and earth. With the black hole as the center, it contained an extremely frightening, devouring power. Suddenly, the wind and clouds surged, and the heaven and earth essence chi within a radius of thousands of kilometers was absorbed, causing a phenomenon of collapse as it compressed towards the center. Wave after wave of killing intent in the void was rapidly devoured by the black hole and turned into ashes. The endless killing intent turned into nothingness and could do nothing to Xiaoping. Bang, bang, bang. The originally incomparably sturdy grand formation. But under this kind of devouring, twisting energy, the surroundings actually began to emit crackling sounds. The foundation of the formation was collapsing, inch by inch. Even the surrounding ground was shattered. Cracks appeared, extending for dozens of kilometers. The surrounding high-rise buildings were quickly shaken to the point of collapse, turning into rubble. Fortunately, this place had already been cleared by the Macklin family and the others. Otherwise, there would have been countless casualties. Impossible. This is a 7-layered, 7-slaughtering formation that contains the killing intent of the world. How could it be destroyed with just a single strike? What kind of divine power is this? Because the foundation of the formation had collapsed, a group of cultivators controlling the formation immediately suffered a backlash. They were shaken so much that they coughed up blood. They looked at the scene in front of them in disbelief. Originally, this was a fatal killing formation that could instantly kill this Chinquan sect's direct inheritor, leaving him with no path of escape. He didn't expect that it would collapse right after it started, especially the patriarch of the Macklin family, Blunt. His foolproof arrangement had actually failed. He had a bad feeling in his heart. He felt that things might not be progressing as smoothly as he had imagined. Devouring divine power. This is definitely the devouring divine power of the Tao Tai clan. Someone shouted. He recognized this was the famous divine power of the Tao Tai clan, which could devour all natural substances. Damn it, isn't this a martial divine power that only the Tao Tai clan can master? Why does this kid know it? The people of the Feet clan also recognized it. After all, they had adopted a Tao Tai previously. They also went online to search about the bloodline divine power of the Tao Tai clan and knew how terrifying this divine power was. If it was cultivated to an extremely high realm, it was estimated that this planet would be devoured by the black hole and turn into nothingness. It said that if one can form a contract with the Tao Tai clan, he can obtain their devouring divine power. I reckon that this young Boobian has formed a slave contract with that Tao Tai girl. You must be joking. Is that kid crazy? He actually dares to form a contract with a Tao Tai. Isn't he afraid that the Tao Tai will eat him poor? Even if he has money, he can't waste it like this. Someone scolded and felt that this kid was a madman. Forming a contract with the Tao Tai was the same as ruining his future. Even a Saint clan wouldn't dare to adopt a Tao Tai. After all, the resources that a Tao Tai needed were countless times that of a normal person. This was an unimaginable amount of resources. Just the money needed to raise a Tao Tai was enough to drag down a normal person. They wouldn't even have the chance to obtain any cultivation resources. If that was the case, how could they advance and increase their magic power? Of course, even so, it wasn't easy to form a contract with the Tao Tai clan. If the Tao Tai clan didn't acknowledge the other party wholeheartedly, they wouldn't form a contract with the Tao Tai clan. Even if they used force, it wouldn't work. No matter if he is an idiot or not, no matter how he dies in the future, now that he has grasped this devouring divine power, his combat strength has increased by more than 10 times. He won't die so easily. Damn it! Why did such an accident happen? I told you that this is a direct disciple of the Heaven and Earth sect. He isn't so easy to kill. Everyone was shocked. If they knew that Xia Ping's combat strength was so terrifying and he even learned the devouring divine power, they definitely wouldn't have attacked so easily. But since they already attacked, they couldn't turn back time. They couldn't even compromise and surrender. Right now, they could only fight to the death. You speak too much nonsense. Die. Xia Ping took a step forward and punched the air again. This kind of aura was like a divine elephant lying dormant in his body. Every breath he took was like a divine elephant breathing, swallowing the power of heaven and earth. Faintly, the image of a god elephant seemed to appear behind his back. It was indomitable and incomparably majestic. So strong. Everyone was shocked, and their hearts trembled. It was like they saw an ancient god ramming into Buzhou Mountain. This was a simple punch, but contained boundless power. With his body as the center, a terrifying force spread out in all directions. The air condensed into a substance like waves. Extremely pure power was usually the most terrifying. It didn't have any impurities and contained absolute destructive power. A series of super explosions occurred in the air. A golden core couldn't dodge in time and was hit by this punch. All the defensive spiritual weapons on him were useless, and the strong force seeped into his organs. Bang! In the next second, his entire body exploded into pieces, leaving only a golden core spinning in midair, giving off a mysterious aura. Chapter 1571. Damn it. We can't let this kid continue doing whatever he wants. Red Scarf Thieves, what are you waiting for? Kill him now. Kill him quickly. Are you waiting for us to die before you make a move? Blunt was scared out of his wits when he saw a golden core being killed. Although he was a peak golden core realm cultivator, he was powerless against the divine elephant's punch. If he was that golden core realm cultivator, he would have been blown to smithereens. If they allowed this kid to continue doing whatever he wanted, his aura would continue to rise, and he would become one with heaven and earth. By then, all of them would be killed by him. I didn't expect that we would have to make a move. I thought we just needed to watch the show. You gangsters are just too weak. Even after setting up such a trap, you still can't kill your opponent. You're really useless. No wonder you can only live in a corner. Fine, let's make a move. We can't let this Chinquin sect disciple continue flaunting his prowess. After all, this world Headstar is our trading planet. We can't let others encroach on it. One by one, the cadres of the Red Scarf Thieves stood up. There were a total of 7 of them. They were all Golden Core Realm cultivators, at least in the intermediate stage. 3 of them were peak Golden Core Realm cultivators. They had knife scars on their faces and looked extremely ferocious. Blunt and the group of Golden Core Realm cultivators couldn't be compared to them. They had fought in mountains of corpses and seas of blood and had rich combat experience. The difference between the two was like the difference between a pack of wolves and a flock of sheep. Clang! In an instant, the 7 senior cadres of the Red Scarf Thieves made a move. They pulled out long swords from their bodies. Under the sunlight, the swords emitted a frightening, cold light. 7 Wonders' heart-locking sword formation. They naturally split into 7 directions. Their feet stepped on the 7 stars, and they were distributed in 7 corners. They held long swords in their hands. Sword chi emanated from their bodies, resonating with each other and forming a sword formation. Boom! At this moment, a super sword formation appeared under Xiaoping's feet. Sword chi as thick as an arm spread out from the depths of the void. They were like chains of order, traversing the void and piercing through eternity. Huh. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. The moment this 7 arcane heart-locking sword formation appeared, chains formed from sword chi burst forth, sealing the area within a radius of tens of miles. There were chains everywhere, sealing everything. Within the large range of this sword formation, it would be difficult to move an inch. If one was the slightest bit careless, they would be killed by the exploding sword chi, easily slicing through various parts of their bodies. Even his skin could feel the sharpness of the sword chi as it vibrated at high speed. If he got a little closer, his skin, muscles, and bones would feel as if they were about to be sliced into pieces. He could not get close. What a powerful sword formation. The surrounding members of the underworld family were all shocked. They could feel how terrifying this 7 ingenious heart-locking sword formation was. In terms of the ability to seal the enemy, it was probably several times more powerful than the 7 layers of the 7 killing formation. Staying in this formation, there was simply nowhere to escape. One could only close their eyes and wait for death. Well done. Seal his movements. I'll kill him. Upon seeing this, Blunt was incomparably excited. Taking advantage of the moment when Xiaoping was temporarily unable to move, he immediately made his move. In an instant, a terrifying magical power at the peak of the Golden Elixir realm erupted, causing terrifying ripples in the surrounding air. Martial Path Magical Power. 7 breaks, 7 absolutes, heart-wrenching palm. This was an extremely terrifying martial path magical power. 7 breaks referred to the breaking of heart vessels, blood vessels, tendons, liver and intestines, kidneys, bones, and wrists. 7 absolutes referred to the severing of heart, severing of emotion, severing of gratitude, severing of desire, severing of pain, severing of life, and severing of yearning. Once struck by this palm technique, one's internal organs would immediately be destroyed and the entire body would be turned into a paste. It even specialized in attacking the soul, harming the essence of the soul. Being struck by it would mean certain death. Moreover, when one died, his face would be distorted as if he was laughing. However, Such a smile was even more unsightly than crying. It was incomparably bizarre, as if he had seen a ghost. This was also the peerless ultimate technique that Blunt had relied on to become famous for. As the palms smashed down, black winds blew and ghostly wails could be heard. The palm print contained a bizarre dark force that could devour everything. The surrounding people felt the surrounding air distort, producing many illusions. Indistinctly, dark ghosts appeared and devoured souls. Blunt, I'm here to help you. Young Booping, you've killed many members of my Right clan. Today, I'll avenge them. You'll regret it in hell. The Right clan leader also made his move, taking advantage of Xiaoping's weakness. Knowing that Xiaoping was in the most dangerous moment, as someone who had a deep grudge against this brat, how could he not add insult to injury? Martial Path Magical Power, 7 Poison Finger. This was a martial path magical power he had traded with the Myriad Poison Clan. It was extremely powerful and poisonous. Once hit, the enemy would immediately die from the poison, dying without a complete corpse. In the Southern Universe, there was an extremely rare species of poisonous snake known as the 7 Poison Snake. Its body contained 7 different kinds of strange poisons, yet they were mixed together harmoniously. This kind of poison was extremely terrifying. Even a savage beast with strong vitality would immediately die after being bitten by it. Its blood would coagulate and it would die from the poison. And the 7 Poison Finger was cultivated by using the bile, venom, and blood of the 7 Poison Snake, as well as various rare spirit herbs. During this process, one had to endure great pain, and only those with great willpower could successfully cultivate it. After the patriarch of the Wright family successfully cultivated this martial arts mystique, he became invincible. Even martial artists stronger than him would die from the poison if they were hit by a finger of his. Not many people dared to fight him to the death. Xiao xiao xiao. In an instant, 7 poisonous gases appeared in the air. They were red, yellow, blue, green, cyan, indigo, and purple, representing 7 different kinds of poisons. They emitted a strange glow. These 7 rays of light sealed off all directions of Xiaoping, forming a large formation that crushed over. The surrounding people were all shocked and retreated several kilometers, afraid that they would die if they came into contact with these poisonous gases. After all, if they weren't rescued in time, they would also die. Even the Feet clan leader couldn't do anything. This brat is dead for sure. The group of people were extremely excited. Their eyes revealed a cruel glint. The 7 high-ranking officers of the Red Scarf Bandits made their move and arranged a sword formation to seal off this brat's movements. Coupled with the Wright clan leader's poison magical power and Blunt's 7 break, 7 despair palm. Even if this brat was a true disciple of the Chinquan sect and had many tricks up his sleeves, he wouldn't be able to escape death today. Even if a returning Truth Realm expert appeared in this place, he would have to retreat and not dare to face it head-on. You have some ability, but that's all you can do. Break for me. Xiaoping's eyes revealed a trace of coldness. He circulated the pure, young, immortal secret art. The blood in his body boiled like magma, and runes flowed in the depths of his blood. A terrifying flame, energy gushed out from the depths of his dantian and condensed in the air. A gigantic ancient furnace appeared in front of him. Chapter 1572. What's that? The surrounding gangsters couldn't help but widen their eyes. To their astonishment, they saw a huge furnace appear in front of Xiaoping. It was dark gold in color, and its surface was engraved with dense, ancient inscriptions. Vaguely, there seemed to be countless ancient gods and devils living in the depths of the furnace. They emitted an aura of eternity, chaos, nobility, and so on, capable of destroying everything. As soon as the Hellfire Crucible appeared, it immediately erupted with terrifying energy waves. The heavens shook, the earth trembled, and the stars shone brightly, creating many hellish illusions. Nether Ghost, Bear Devil, 6-armed Lion Devil, 3-eyed Bear Devil, Giant Serpent, Blazing Devil, Venomous Ancient Devil, and other demons appeared as well. They let out earth-shattering roars, and their demonic energy billowed into the sky. It was as if a demonic realm had descended. Boom! In an instant, the surrounding sword chi was obliterated by the Hellfire Crucible. All of the sword chi was shaken into a frenzy, and even the Seven Wonders Heartlock sword formation was torn apart on the spot. Bang! 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 The 7 Red Scarf Thieves were caught off guard. They were also sent flying by this tyrannical force. The flying swords in their hands were shaken out of their hands, and their lungs suffered severe injuries. It was as if they had been shaken thousands of times. A huge crater was formed in the ground. Everything within a 10-mile radius was razed to the ground. All the tall buildings were reduced to rubble and broken walls. The previous police station had long since been reduced to ashes, no longer existing. The high-ranking Red Scarf Thieves couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. Due to the collapse of the formation, they also suffered a terrifying backlash. Their faces were filled with terror. They didn't expect the 7 Wonders Heartlock sword formation they were so proud of to be broken by someone. Moreover, it was broken by brute force. They couldn't resist at all. Dong dong. At this time, Blunt's and the Patriarch's attacks arrived almost at the same time, bombarding the Hellfire Crucible in front of Xiaoping. Immediately, the two forces were devoured by the Hellfire Crucible, like stones falling into the sea. They only caused a ripple before vanishing without a trace. Oh no! The Patriarch's expression changed drastically. He was terrified to the extreme. In order to kill Xiaoping, he had used almost all of his strength. He was also the closest to Xiaoping. He wanted to reap the kid's head as soon as possible. Never could he have imagined that his attack would be completely useless against the brat. The Hellfire Crucible devoured all of the toxins, transforming them into ash. In this way, he had fallen into a state of certain death. Bang! Xiaoping didn't even look at the Patriarch. He simply waved his hand, causing the Hellfire Crucible to descend from the sky. The air around it collapsed as it slammed into the Patriarch of the Fett clan. Ah! He screamed, and before he could even react, the Hellfire Crucible swallowed him whole. The flames of the Hellfire Crucible roared to life, reaching temperatures of hundreds of thousands of degrees. Even Micah Steel will be reduced to ash. Not to mention the fact that the leader of the Feet clan was merely a human with a body of flesh and blood. In the next second, his body was burned into a pile of ash, leaving behind only a bean-sized golden core that shone brightly. Patriarch! The members of the Feet clan couldn't help but scream. Their Patriarch had been killed in a single move, without even being able to fight back. They couldn't believe their eyes. Now it's your turn. Xiaoping wasn't going to give his enemies any chance to escape. He slammed his palm out toward Blunt, a martial Dao divine ability, Yin-Yang Tombstone Breaking Hand. As the palm slammed down, the surrounding energy and sword chi were all shaken into nothingness. It was as if wherever the palm went, everything there would be transformed into the most fundamental yin and yang power, refining everything. It was like the hand of a god, representing the 5 elements, yin-yang, and the true essence of life and death. It represented the true essence of the universe, as if it were a minor world of its own. Any power in the face of this powerful yin-yang attack was like nothing more than nothingness. Damn it! Blunt's expression was unsightly to behold. He could sense how terrifying the palm was, and knew that it would be a fool's dream if he thought he could block it with his own strength. He used several escape techniques, a total of dozens of them, turning into streams of light as if he was trying to evade the palm strike. But no matter how he tried to escape, the giant palm seemed to be able to capture his vital energy and lock onto him. No matter how he changed, it was able to track him down. It possessed the power of breaking illusions. He knew that there was no way to escape. Only by clashing head-on would he have a chance of survival. Shield of mountains and rivers. Blunt shouted. He actually took out a small shield from his body. This was the middle-grade defensive spiritual weapon, Shield of Mountains and Rivers. He spat out a mouthful of fresh blood, which contained most of his vital energy. The pure and majestic energy instantly surged into the small shield, burning fiercely. The small shield was engraved with towering mountains and rivers, as well as rivers of longswords. It was incomparably majestic, with a terrifying aura and billowing sound waves. The moment the fresh blood sprayed onto it, the entire small shield seemed to be filled with majestic energy. It suddenly came to life and emitted a terrifying blood chi. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Layer after layer of energy shields immediately appeared on the surface of the small shield. There were a total of 49 layers. These energy shields were like mountains and rivers materializing in this world. They stood in front of Blunt and fought for a chance of survival for him. Boom! Just at this moment, the giant palm came crashing down like the hand of God. It contained the aura of life and death. It was also like a meteor crashing onto the ground. God knew how many energy shields were destroyed, the vital energy disintegrated, and the earth collapsed. The 49 layers of energy shields were completely unable to withstand this palm. Layer after layer of energy shields collapsed. Mountain after mountain was shattered, and river after river was completely evaporated. It was as though the entire world was being destroyed by this palm. The terrifying magic power even seeped through the small shield into Blunt's internal organs and into his limbs and bones. The terrifying destructive power reverberated back and forth, causing thousands of damage. No, no, no! Blunt let out a blood-curdling scream like a pig being slaughtered. His body was shattered like glass after being hit by this palm. Densely packed cracks appeared on his body like a spiderweb. With a boom, his body exploded into pieces. What was left in the air was a spinning gold core and a shattered shield. At this moment, the shield had already lost all its brilliance. It was obvious that the restrictive formation inside had been obliterated, and its spirituality had been completely destroyed. Chapter 1573. Oh no! The 7 high-ranking cadres of the Red Scarf Bandits and the remaining 3 or 4 Golden Core Realm Underworld Clan leaders were trembling from head to toe, especially after witnessing Xia Ping's ferocity in killing Blunt and the others with just a few punches. This kind of fear spread all over their bodies as they felt the signs of the arrival of the God of Death. Originally, they came to kill Yang Badong, but who would have thought that not only did they fail to do so, but they also lost several Golden Core Realm cultivators. It's your turn. After killing Blunt with one punch, Xia Ping had no intention of stopping. His figure flickered like a koan pong. The wings on his back were constantly flapping, leaving afterimages in the air. His speed was so fast that no one present could react in time. He aimed at one of the high-ranking cadres of the Red Scarf Thieves and smashed his fist down. The stars trembled and the air within a radius of 10 miles collapsed, forming a terrifying vortex, as if the sky was falling and the earth was splitting. Boom! That high-ranking cadre of the Red Scarf Thieves let out a blood-curdling scream. His chest was immediately penetrated by the fist, and his entire body exploded into pieces, turning into a mass of meat paste, leaving only a golden core spinning in the air. Damn it! You dare to kill a high-ranking cadre of the Red Scarf Thieves. Do you know that you're making an enemy out of us? Even if you're a true disciple of the Qinquan sect, you won't be able to escape death for killing one of our men. No one can save you. The remaining 6 high-ranking cadres of the Red Scarf Thieves were so shocked that their eyes were about to pop out. Seeing one of their companions killed with one punch and unable to even self-destruct his golden core, they were enraged to the extreme, as if a volcano had erupted in their hearts. They let out angry roars. No one could save me? Who do you think you are? Just a group of interstellar pirates, stray dogs that have been chased everywhere. After killing you, what can the Red Scarf Thieves do to me? With a swoosh, Xia Ping dived down and punched again. It was as if a divine elephant had come out of the mountain, shaking the hell with its godly might and terrifying majesty. A high-ranking cadre of the Red Scarf Thieves tried to resist and even took out a shield in an attempt to block Xia Ping's attack. However, such actions were useless. In just one strike, the shield was penetrated by the fist and turned into countless fragments. Even the fist force landed on his chest, causing his entire body to explode. In just a few breaths, 2 golden cores had died completely. No, I can't continue to fight him to the death. I have to escape. Break up the hole into parts. Every single one that escapes counts. Yang Budong, you won't have a good ending. When we escape, you'll be greeted by the army of Red Scarf bandits. Our leader will definitely avenge us. Seeing that Xia Ping had killed the Golden Core Perfected ones as easily as killing dogs, the remaining Golden Core Perfected ones no longer had the mentality to fight against Xia Ping. They just wanted to quickly escape from this dangerous place and frantically escape from Xia Ping's pursuit. They hated Xia Ping to the extreme, so much so that they almost bit their lips until they bled. One by one, they fled in all directions, using the fastest speed they could muster in their lives. Is that so? Do you think you can escape from me? In my eyes, your speed is no different from that of a snail. Even if you run for 5 kilometers, I'll still be able to catch up and kill you. Xia Ping circulated the golden crow of hell bloodline in his body, and a pair of dark golden wings appeared. They exuded a noble and ancient aura and were dozens of meters long. Immediately, the wings stirred the wind and clouds, gushing out endless power that wrapped around Xia Ping's body, turning him into a sphere that shuttled through the void and into a dimensional space, arriving at another location. Bang! Bang! With another punch, the bodies of the 2 Red Scarf bandits exploded. They didn't even manage to escape a meter away before they were blasted into pieces on the spot. The tyrannical force traversed dozens of miles, creating a terrifying crack that seemed to split the city into 2. A huge abyss appeared on the ground. No, this bastard is too fast. There's no way to escape. Grab that Tao Tai girl as a hostage. He'll definitely hold back for fear of harming her. The remaining Golden Core Perfected Masters were terrified. They didn't expect the dignified Golden Core Perfected Masters to die so easily. It was as if they weren't facing a cultivator of the same level, but a returning nature realm or even a transcendence realm master. After Xia Ping's bombardment, there were only 3 Red Scarf bandits left and 4 Mafia family patriarchs. There were originally 14 Golden Core Perfected Masters, but now only half were left. Swoosh! Immediately, 4 Mafia family patriarchs took action and instantly pounced on Tan Meng Lu. They were like eagles pouncing on sheep. They stretched out their hands and immediately wanted to capture Tan Meng Lu. Idiot! Xia Ping shook his head. He had signed a contract with Tan Meng Lu, so he naturally knew how terrifying a creature Tan Meng Lu was. Although she looked like a little lowly, the strength inside her body was terrifying without limit. She had already reached the Golden Core realm, even with the Tao Tai clan's racial talent. Her combat power was even comparable to ordinary returning nature realm cultivators. Therefore, she could be domineering. Even if she was captured, she didn't have to worry about becoming a slave. In addition, she had eaten her fill these days. The Tao Tai energy in her body had increased again, and her combat power had increased by several times. This group of Mafia family patriarchs wanted to find trouble with her. They were simply courting death. Bad guy, you want to capture me? Eat them all. Tan Meng Lu also saw the actions of the 4 Mafia family patriarchs. Her entire body instantly turned into a cloud of black smoke and quickly condensed into a huge black hole. Tao Tai divine ability, Devour. This devouring power was more than several times stronger than Xia Ping's Devour divine ability. Its diameter reached hundreds of meters. It was as if a gap had appeared in this world and devoured everything. Within the range of the black hole, no matter what substance, material, or even living creature, it would be hard to escape death. Once it was devoured, it would immediately be refined into atoms. Facing such a virtual black hole, even if these Golden Core Perfected Masters wanted to hurt Tan Meng Lu, it was impossible. Their attacks couldn't harm the essence of the black hole. No! The 4 Mafia family patriarchs screamed, and their pupils constricted. They wanted to escape, but it was too late. In order to capture Tan Meng Lu as soon as possible, they had used all their strength. Looking at it now, they were simply walking into a trap. They threw themselves towards the black hole. In addition to the terrifying suction produced by the black hole, how could they escape? In the next second, the 4 Mafia family patriarchs were instantly devoured by the black hole. With a boom, They turned into nothingness and were completely devoured, refined, and crushed by the black hole. Whoosh! After devouring the 4 golden core perfected masters, Tanminglu once again returned to her original appearance. She still looked like a little girl. No one would have thought that she could easily kill the 4 golden core perfected masters. The surrounding mafia members were shocked, and their legs were trembling. They finally remembered that Tao Tai was not a creature that only knew how to eat. It was known as one of the primordial 10 beasts, and was once known as a universal calamity. Chapter 1574. Blood Escape. Seeing that the 4 patriarchs of the underworld families had been swallowed, the remaining 3 cadres of the Red Scarf Pirates were so scared that they peed their pants. They immediately used a secret escape technique of the Red Scarf Pirates, Blood Escape. Each of them burned their own chi and blood, and their whole body emitted a red light. In an instant, they turned into a rainbow light and fled thousands of kilometers away in an instant. It was impossible to catch up. Escaped. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes. Seeing the 3 senior cadres of the Red Scarf Pirates fleeing, he did not chase them. Instead, he revealed an inexplicable smile, his eyes deep. Although this blood escape was indeed good, if he wanted to chase them, the 3 cadres of the Red Scarf Pirates would definitely not be able to escape. But what was the use of killing these 3 small fries? It was better to release these 3 people and wait for them to escape from the World Head Star. Xiaoping would then be able to find the real lair of the Red Scarf Pirates and capture this group of interstellar pirates. Seeing that these people had left, Xiaoping no longer cared about them. He turned to look at the remaining elites of the underworld families. These people also knew that they could not escape no matter what, so they all stayed where they were, trembling, waiting for their punishment. Do you want to die or live? Xiaoping looked at this group of people indifferently. This group of underworld elites were all smart people. Hearing this sentence, they knew that their chance to live had come. They all knelt on the ground and shouted, "Lord Yang, we are willing to surrender." Although they were all members of the underworld families, it did not mean that they were as united as a real family. In the end, it was just an underworld organization. Usually, if they were strong, it would be fine. But once they lost power, they would fall faster than the grass on the wall. With this sentence, it meant that all the underworld forces of the World Head Star surrendered. After all, even their leader was beheaded, and most of the higher-ups were dead. No one could compete with Xiaoping. Congratulations, junior brother Yang. Congratulations on unifying the World Head Star. With a swoosh, at this moment, Duan Qingrui jumped out and came to Xiaoping, showing a look of congratulations and flattery like a lackey. In fact, when he saw Xiaoping beheading more than a dozen perfected golden cores like cutting melons and vegetables, his hair stood on end. He wanted to leave the World Head Star immediately and never come back. However, thinking about it carefully, if Xiaoping were to rule this planet, no spaceship would be able to leave with a single order. In that case, where could he escape to? Most importantly, he believed that his actions hadn't been exposed. The other party didn't know that he had colluded with the underworld forces. With his identity as an outer sect disciple of the Chinquin sect, the other party shouldn't act against him. And now that the other party had unified the World Head Star, he was the second most powerful person here. His future days would probably be better than now. He would be second only to one and above millions. Therefore, he couldn't wait to jump out and congratulate Xiaoping, hoping to leave a good impression. Senior brother Duan, you have the guts to come out now. Do you think you can still live after betraying me? Xiaoping glanced sideways at Duan Qingrui. This glance instantly caused Duan Qingrui to be frightened out of his wits, and he felt as if he had fallen into an icy pit. He had been exposed. The matter of him betraying Xiaoping had indeed been exposed, and he couldn't hide it from the other party's eyes at all. Junior brother Xia, Duan Qingrui, still wanted to say something, but before he could speak, Xiaoping's palm slammed into his body. With a boom, his entire body exploded, and he died without a complete corpse. Stupid, you are a fence-sitter. Do you think you can live? You are dreaming. Xiaoping looked calmly at the dead Duan Qingrui and didn't move at all. One day later, the entire World Head Star's power map had undergone an earth-shattering change. All the underworld powers were broken up and completely unified. No one dared to oppose Xia Ping's rule anymore. Even the higher-ups of the underworld had slave chips installed in their bodies, and they became Xia Ping's slaves. This enslaved many crazy people in the underworld, and even if they wanted to go against him, they were powerless. After all, Xia Ping had a reason to attack him. Many of the underworld forces surrounded him, and that was a crime punishable by death. Now, they just became his slaves and weren't killed. That was already merciful. Of course, there were some elites who were loyal to their families who opposed Xia Ping's rule. But as soon as these people started to resist, they were killed by Xia Ping with one slap. There were also some people who took advantage of their seniority, thinking that their position was important and that it had to be him. They looked down on Xia Ping and were killed by Xia Ping. It was useless to have disobedient dogs. This world didn't lack anyone, and the treasures that had been stored by the major underworld families for many years were also moved to Xia Ping's current mansion. The previous mansion was abandoned by Xia Ping. He moved the headquarters to the mansion that used to belong to the Medlin family. This was the most luxurious and superior place on World Headstar. Good stuff. Seeing the treasures that were constantly being moved over, Xia Ping was very excited. As expected of the underworld families that had operated on World Headstar for hundreds of years, and it was in the strategic center. They were simply overflowing with wealth. Just the family's treasures were equivalent to 2 to 3 billion universe dollars. Among them were spirit stones, elixirs, pills, materials, magic treasures, and countless other things that made countless people drool. The combined wealth of the various families was at least more than 20 billion universe dollars. And the Medlin family had even more treasures. There were countless magic treasures and various materials. Xia Ping felt that with these materials in hand, he could set up more restrictive formations. And what is this? Among the pile of treasures, Xia Ping sensed that there was a black box with a powerful restrictive formation engraved on it, which could isolate the aura inside the box. Sir, a high-ranking member of the Medlin family immediately said, "This is a treasure that Blunt obtained from a secret channel at a huge price. It is said that it was used to offer to the Red Scarf Thieves." The 7 high-ranking cadres of the Red Scarf Thieves came to World Headstar to escort this treasure. They didn't come specifically to deal with you, sir. There's such a thing? Xia Ping's heart moved. 7 high-ranking cadres of the Red Scarf Thieves to escort a treasure together. One could imagine the preciousness of this treasure. It was definitely the kind that was priceless. Dong! He immediately made a move and operated his magic power to break the restrictive formation of this box. With a snap, the black box was opened, revealing the thing inside. And what is this? Xia Ping's body suddenly trembled because the black box opened, revealing the majestic power of stars. It was as vast as a star, sweeping through the ages, emitting an ancient and vicissitude aura. It was a bead that was about the size of a fist. However, it contained boundless power of the stars, and its interior seemed to be engraved with dense star runes, as if there was a world of stars living within. Chapter 1575. Star Nucleus? What is this? Xia Ping asked curiously. Corinne immediately explained. A star nucleus is the core of a planet. It gathers the energy essence of the whole planet. If you want to take out this star nucleus, you must wait for the planet to enter its old age and death period. Only then will you have the opportunity to enter the depths of the mantle and take out the core. Of course, you can take it out other times, but it will definitely cause the whole planet to explode. The power is boundless, and the radius of 1 light year will be swept away and completely destroyed. Even a weak sage will be seriously injured by the explosion. Therefore, a star nucleus is extremely precious and valuable. At that time, it was very difficult for the old master to get a star nucleus. I didn't expect to see one in this place. My luck is really good. Corinne's tone was very excited. Xia Ping also understood why a star nucleus was so precious. Although there are countless planets in the universe, the problem is that the lifespan of each planet is too long, easily as long as billions of years. In their lifetime, It is impossible for ordinary creatures to see the moment when a planet is dying. Even if a planet is really dying, it is not so easy to obtain a star nucleus. It has long been targeted by the great forces and even the sages. How could ordinary people have a chance? Therefore, it is really a miracle to find a star nucleus. How did these guys find a star nucleus? Xiaoping was very curious. Corinne said, "Don't worry about how this group of people found it. It is probably a coincidence. This star nucleus is of great benefit to you. It can be used to practice the star guiding art and draw out the star energy inside the star nucleus, greatly enhancing the power of the star guiding art and promoting the star body to a very high realm. Even if the energy inside is exhausted, the star nucleus itself is still an extremely precious material. It can also be used to refine a star magic weapon, and it can even absorb the starry sky energy and reuse it." Hearing this, Xiaoping also knew how precious this star nucleus was. For people who cultivate the power of stars, it is simply a treasure, and it can also be used repeatedly, which is hard to find in the world. Now that the Red Scarf Thief has lost this treasure, he reckons that he will fly into a rage. Even if he mobilizes many battleships to attack the World Head Star, he feels that it is not impossible. Thinking of this, Xiaoping took stock of the treasures and had the surrounding people leave. After obtaining this astral core, he could sense the opportunity to break through. As for the 3 high-level cadres of the Red Scarf Bandits, he had completely grasped their whereabouts. Currently, they were like stray dogs, hiding in a corner of the World Head Star, recuperating from their injuries, not daring to come out. After all, they were merely Golden Core Realm cultivators who had yet to condense an essence spirit. Naturally, it was impossible for them to leave the planet and live alone in the void. If they wanted to leave this place, they would need a spaceship. The problem was that Xiaoping controlled the entire World Head Star, and every ship was being inspected. The 3 Red Scarf pirate cadres did not dare to show themselves, afraid that Xiaoping would discover them and kill them on the spot. Therefore, they only dared to hide in the dark and slowly recover from their injuries. Since the other party had not left and returned to the Red Scarf Bandits' headquarters, Xiaoping did not bother with them. He was not anxious at all. Another day passed. Xiaoping stayed in the quiet room, and no one disturbed him. In front of him was an astral core that was emitting an azure blue light, infecting the whole quiet room. Wisps of starlight appeared, as if the quiet room had turned into a starry world. This astral core was filled with rich star energy, almost condensed into a substance, as if it had fallen into a sea of stars. He sat down cross-legged and operated the star guiding art. Every pore in his body was breathing, producing a whirlpool power, guiding the boundless star energy out of the astral core and instilling it into his body. Rumble, after an unknown amount of time, a huge amount of star energy entered his body. His spiritual power rose steadily and finally reached the perfect realm, filling every corner of the Purple Mansion space. Dong! At this moment, the boundless energy instantly broke through the bottleneck. Like water flowing naturally, it smoothly broke the barrier of the Purple Mansion space and spread towards the depths of the void. The Purple Mansion space also benefited from this and rapidly expanded. The spiritual power in his body also increased at a speed visible to the naked eye. Intermediate Golden Core Realm. Xiaoping knew that he had finally stepped into the intermediate Golden Core Realm, and his strength was much stronger. His spiritual power was twice as strong as before, and so was his divine sense, which had become even more terrifying. The boundless spiritual power contained in the Golden Core was even more vast. It seemed that the primordial spirit in the depths of the Golden Core was clearer, faintly discernible, as if it was about to materialize. One could imagine that he was one step closer to the returning nature realm, the realm of condensing the primordial spirit. Such strong spiritual power. Xiaoping opened his eyes, revealing a glimmer of light. Every meridian in his body was filled with boundless magic power energy, like a great river surging and flowing, like a flood dragon roaming. His every move was filled with a domineering aura, more than twice as strong as before. At the same time, the Hell Golden Crow bloodline in his body also benefited from the breakthrough of the realm, awakening more than 1,000,000 Hell Golden Crow cells, making the total number of awakened Hell Golden Crow cells to 4,000,000, and the power of the bloodline was even stronger. Of course, Xiaoping's biggest change was in the use of the star guiding art. He had swallowed the star energy of the star nucleus, which greatly improved the star guiding art, saving him hundreds of years of cultivation time and improving the star form to a new realm. Vaguely, an illusory painting appeared in Xiaoping's body. Every acupoint on his body seemed to have a star living in it. The stars flickered and interacted with each other, containing a mysterious and ancient power. It was vast and mighty. This was the myriad world star map. Without a doubt, this was a sign that the star form was about to reach the great completion, which meant that the myriad world star map was condensed in his body. Once this picture scroll was condensed, the power of the star form would increase by hundreds of times, or even more than 1,000 times. If this myriad world star map was activated, it would immediately produce many visions, drawing the power of countless stars in the void to suppress the enemy, sweep through the void, and have the power to be invincible in an era. Even every breath would attract the starlight, making the stars dance. If he cultivated normally, Xiaoping did not know how long it would take, but with the help of the star nucleus, he could save a lot of time. Moreover, even though he had absorbed a large amount of star energy, the star energy contained in the star nucleus had not dissipated, and he had only absorbed a small part. One could imagine how terrifying the energy contained in a star nucleus was. It was definitely not something that people at the Golden Elixir realm could imagine. No matter what, it was the life essence of a planet. Chapter 1576. At this moment, in a hidden valley on the world head star, just as Xiaoping was cultivating in seclusion, the three high-level cadres of the Red Scarf Bandits were called Tao Yi, Tao Air, and Tao San. They were called the three Tao brothers. They were also triplets. Big brother, are we leaving the world head star now? Isn't it too dangerous? That cruel heaven and earth sect disciple is still searching for us on the world head star. If we're discovered by that bastard, we are dead. Humph, don't worry. These days I've been observing the movements of the world head star and found that their search has weakened. After such a long time without any news, I believe they have already slacked off. Also, this is a business planet. There are countless spaceships coming in every day. If this continues, they will definitely not be able to take it, and it will affect the business environment here. As expected of Big Brother, you are indeed an expert in gathering information. But why can't we find any news of that Yang Budong? Previously, I thought he was just an ordinary legacy disciple that could be easily crushed to death. I didn't expect him to be such a ferocious tiger. F***CK. I am not convinced. Is this the true strength of the Heaven and Earth sect's legacy disciple? More than 10 of us Golden Cores attacked together and even set up a trap, but we were still beaten like dead dogs. If we didn't escape quickly, we would have ended up like the others, all killed and our Golden Cores taken away. Sigh, are thieves really not as good as the regular army? Is the difference so big? Comparing oneself to others is really infuriating. We're all Golden Core realm. Why is that kid so abnormal? It doesn't make sense. The three high-level cadres of the Red Scarf Bandits gritted their teeth. They felt very sullen about this failure. At the same time, they still had lingering fear. Luckily, they escaped quickly, otherwise they would have definitely died in the hands of that kid. Big brother, if we escape now, the leader's mission will fail. What about the Star Corps? Will the leader be angry? Tao San said with a little fear. Their mission this time was to escort the Star Corps back, but now they failed and even lost a few Golden Core realm companions, suffering unprecedented losses. If the leader of the Red Scarf Bandits was angry, they would probably be in big trouble. A failure is a failure. What do we do about it? It's not that we didn't work hard. It's just that the enemy is too strong. Tao once said, furthermore, 4 high-ranking officers have died this time, causing the Red Scarf Bandits to suffer a huge loss in terms of high-end combat strength. As Golden Cores, the 3 of us are considered to be extremely strong. I believe that we will definitely be highly regarded by the leader and will not be casually punished. He was extremely confident. That's right. When we go back this time, we must let the leader personally take action. The army will suppress the border and kill that hateful young boo, so that he will know the power of our Red Scarf bandits. Tao Air gritted his teeth and swore to take revenge. That's right. That star nucleus is the treasure that the leader wants, and he must get it. Yangbu has gotten his hands on that treasure, and this is the crime of possessing a treasure. He will die for sure. Tao Sen also agreed. Forget it. Don't talk so much nonsense. Let's hurry up and drive the flying ship away. If we delay any longer, I'm afraid there will be an accident. Tao immediately said, urging his two brothers to move quickly. Whoosh! The three of them immediately moved and ran toward a remote valley. Coincidentally, there was a Red Scarf Bandits flying ship parked there. This flying ship was the one that they had left on the World Head Planet as their last route of retreat. They did not expect that they would actually use it now. One by one, they boarded the flying ship. Beep, beep. Just as they were about to leave, all of a sudden, their communicators rang. It's a message from the leader. Looking at the signal on the communication device, Tao Yi's face changed. He gritted his teeth and finally picked up the call. Instantly, a holographic projection appeared. A middle-aged man with a hooked nose and one eye dressed in black appeared in front of them. This one-eyed man was the leader of the Red Scarf Bandits, Wuan. The moment his holographic projection appeared, it was filled with an oppressive aura. Even though it was a holographic projection, it still emitted a tyrannical aura that blended into heaven and earth. Instantly, the three Tao brothers were sweating profusely and terrified. They knew how powerful and cruel their leader was. What exactly is going on? Why didn't you reply to my messages these few days? You only said that the mission failed. Why did the mission fail? Wuan said coldly. Could it be that you want to betray the Red Scarf Bandits and take the Star Core for yourself? His eyes revealed a cold gleam. If the three Tao brothers really dared to betray the Red Scarf Bandits, then even if the entire universe wanted to hunt them down, he would not hesitate. After all, the Star Core was incomparably precious. To him, it was extremely useful. Leader, with a plop, Tao knelt on the ground in fright. We didn't betray the Red Scarf Bandits. It's just that an accident really happened during the mission. A Heaven and Earth sect direct disciple appeared and single-handedly wiped out all of our people and the various underworld clan leaders on the World Head Planet. He hurriedly recounted what happened these few days, indicating that they didn't want to take the Star Core for themselves. How is that possible? Wuan frowned. Even if he is a Heaven and Earth sect direct disciple, he is only at the Golden Core realm. He actually fought against more than 10 of you and killed more than half of you. Did you waste your cultivation on dogs? He simply didn't dare to believe what he heard. He knew that the direct disciples of the Saint Class sects were very strong, but there was a limit to how strong they could be. There was no reason for one to fight against more than 10 of them. Leader, everything we said is true. If there is even half a lie, may the heavens strike us with lightning. Tao Yi swore to the heavens. If you don't believe us, you can send people to investigate the World Head Planet. Then you will know that what we said is true. Such a matter can't be hidden. Hearing this, Wuan nodded. That was indeed the case. Such a huge matter couldn't be hidden. Whether it was true or not, he just had to send people to investigate and he would know. He believed that the three Tao brothers didn't have the guts to say such a ridiculous lie to deceive him. But if this matter was true, then the strength of the Heaven and Earth sect direct disciple was a little too terrifying. All right, all of you stay on the World Head Planet and wait for me to come. Wuan said solemnly. What? Leader, you're coming personally? The three Tao brothers were dumbfounded. They didn't expect that their leader would be alerted. Of course I am coming. Wuan sneered. You killed 4 of my high-level officers and stole my Star Core. This is an irreconcilable hatred. I can't tolerate it. His body emitted a monstrous killing intent. Is he a Heaven and Earth sect direct disciple? The three Tao brothers were stunned. So what if he is a Heaven and Earth sect direct disciple? The universe is so big. After killing that kid, I will run to the Western universe. No matter how capable Heaven and Earth sect is, can they stretch their hands into the Western universe? No one can take my things and live. You all stay on the World Head planet and wait for me to come. We will work together. Wu made up his mind because the star core was too important. It was related to his future cultivation. As long as he got the star core, he would have a chance to advance to the Law Phase realm. He might even reach the Lightning Calamity realm in the future. Whoever dared to block his path would die. Yes, leader. Chapter 1577. Another day had passed. Xiaoping had completely consolidated his cultivation at the intermediate stage of the Golden Core realm, and he had also raised his star body to a new level. There were 360 stars in the Myriad World star chart, and now he had lit up 7 or 8 of them. Once all these stars were lit up, the Myriad World star map would be completely condensed. His astral body would also instantly reach the Great Accomplishment realm, and he would begin to have the aura of a supreme constitution. Master, Tanming Lu seemed to sense that Xiaoping had ended his seclusion. She rushed in from outside excitedly. Let's go find something else to eat. It's too boring here. She looked at Xiaoping pitifully. Isn't it enough to eat so much every day? Xiaoping asked. Tanming Lu shouted, Master, what do you think Tao Tai is? A big eater who eats everything? Our Tao Tai is a gourmet, you know? You're looking down on Tao Tai too much if you think he's satisfied by just eating some rice. She conveniently grabbed a rice ball made of crystal rice and took a big bite. These days, rice balls had become her favorite. They were like snacks to her, and she would eat dozens of them every now and then. Whoosh! At this moment, a figure suddenly walked out of the void. A little girl appeared in front of Xiaoping and Tanming Lu. She immediately flew over to Xiaoping and said softly, Brother, Dumbo. Xiaoping immediately knew that this little girl was Gaia's Dumbo. However, she usually slept in the Mountain River Pearl space. He did not expect her to wake up now. At this moment, Dumbo turned her head and clearly saw Tanming Lu. She looked her up and down with her big eyes, especially when she saw her bulging breasts. Then, she looked at her flat body and said expressionlessly, Mistress. Who's a mistress? Don't talk nonsense. Hearing this, Tanming Lu immediately went crazy. She felt that this term was too insulting. She actually thought that she was a mistress. Vixen. Dumbo used another term to describe her. Tanming Lu became even more furious. Don't think that I can't tell that you're mocking me with a different term. Don't underestimate Tao Ye's intelligence. I'll say it again. I'm Tao Tai, not a vixen. Xian is brainless. Dumbo was expressionless. She hugged Xiaoping with both hands, as if to declare her sovereignty. Provocation. This was definitely provocation. Tanming Lu was so angry that her temples were bulging. She wanted nothing more than to give this fellow a good beating. She revealed a fierce expression. I'll give you 1 minute to apologize. Otherwise, even if Master is angry, I'll beat you up. You don't know how terrifying the wrath of a Tao Tai is. Dumbo chuckled and looked at Tanming Lu with disdain. It exploded. Tanming Lu was so angry that she exploded. She had never been so angry in her life. However, those 2 words had touched her nerves and made her fly into a rage. Damn it, you asked for it. I will hang you up for at least 3 days and 3 nights. Tanming Lu was furious. She instantly attacked and exploded with the power of a Tao Tai. Her entire body transformed into a bolt of black lightning. Her speed was unbelievably fast. Her fist came crashing down with earth-shattering power. Even if she didn't use Tao Ye's divine ability, just by relying on her tremendous strength, she could match divine beasts and be incomparably violent. Dong! Dumbo stood in front of Xiaoping. She didn't move. She didn't do anything. She just stood where she was. The fist smashed into her body. Suddenly, there was a terrifying sound and a series of explosions. What? Tanming Lu was dumbfounded. She could not believe her eyes. She had been confident in her punch, but it had been useless against little Dumbo. She felt as if her fist had smashed into a spatial barrier. No matter how much power she used, she couldn't move it at all. Instead, there was a rebounding force that made her fist numb. Dumbo's eyes were filled with even more disdain. Damn it! Tanming Lu was furious. She felt that her dignity as a Tao Tai had been trampled on. She was looking down on others. What was with that look? Was she looking down on her power as a Tao Tai? She mobilized all the Tao Ye's power in her body. Every cell in her body provided explosive power. It was as if a black hole had been formed. The air and light twisted. Even a normal cultivator in the returning nature realm wouldn't dare to take this punch head-on. This kind of power was enough to overturn mountains and seas, shatter stars, and destroy planets. In an instant, she punched out. Dumbo's little hand slapped over. It contained the power of a star. It was pure to the extreme. This kind of power wasn't something a young Tao Tai could compare with. Dong! In the next second, Tan Meng Lu flew out like a cannonball. She smashed the walls of the quiet room and flew for hundreds of kilometers, smashing mountains one after another. She even slid along the ground, creating a path that was hundreds of kilometers long. Along the way, rocks were shattered and mountains collapsed. The scene was shocking. It was as if this planet was going to be torn in half. However, the Tao Ye's vitality was so strong that it made people's hair stand on end. Although it had suffered such a heavy blow, it still seemed to be fine. It climbed out of the hole, but before she could do anything, Dumbo instantly appeared in front of her. It was expressionless and immediately attacked. Every blow was like a falling star, sinking the earth. Bang, bang, bang. Tan Meng Lu couldn't fight back at all. She was beaten like a ball, slapped to the ground again and again. Even if she wanted to use the devouring god art, it was useless. Just as she used it, she was slapped to the ground, instantly interrupting the activation of her bloodline god art. Moreover, this kind of power seemed to be able to tear a black hole apart. As a Tao Tai, her body was extremely strong. Plus, the opponent didn't kill her. It seemed like he just wanted to teach her a lesson, so her life wasn't in any danger. But even so, she still felt very sullen. Help, master, help. This crazy woman is going to kill the Tao Tai. Tan Meng Lu screamed and asked Xiaoping for help. Xiaoping smiled, but didn't say anything. He just watched the show from the side. Although he had signed a contract with Tan Meng Lu, deep in her heart, Tan Meng Lu still had the pride of being a Tao Tai. She was the rebellious type. Sometimes, she only saw her master as a long-term meal ticket and didn't show any respect. Now was the perfect opportunity to let this little Tao Tai know who the real master was. Even without this contract, she couldn't be his match. A mere Tao Tai wasn't much. Seeing that Xiaoping didn't have any intention of interfering, Tan Meng Lu finally surrendered. She screamed, "Sorry, sister, I was wrong. I surrender. Spare me." She was furious. It was clearly the opponent who provoked her first, but she was forced to apologize. This was too despicable. Could it be that whoever's fist was bigger was more reasonable? Chapter 1578. A few minutes later, under the threat of Little Dumbo, Tan Meng Lu finally shook hands with Little Dumbo and admitted that Little Dumbo's status was above her, and she had to call her sister. Tan Meng Lu gritted her teeth in anger, but there was nothing she could do. Little Dumbo's fist was bigger than hers. Even if she used Tao Tai divine power, she was no match for Little Dumbo. She wanted to eat Xiaoping, this bad master who was watching from the side, like a meat bun. He was too evil to watch her being bullied. "Little Dumbo, why are you awake? Is there something wrong?" Xiaoping asked curiously. "Yes, very noisy." Little Dumbo nodded. "Noisy? What do you mean?" Xiaoping asked carefully. He finally knew why Little Dumbo suddenly woke up. The reason was the trillions of people imprisoned on Gaia Planet. Among the crowd, there were a few returning Truth Realm experts who could fly outside of the atmosphere. Of course, they were in Gaia Planet, and there were space barriers everywhere. They could not break through the atmosphere, so they could only be imprisoned on this planet. Moreover, these Restoration Realm cultivators did not give up and tried all kinds of ways to break through this place. They often bombarded the space barrier, trying to break through the defense here. Naturally, these attacks were nothing to Gaia. They did not hurt him at all, but the problem was that it made Little Dumbo, who was sleeping, very uncomfortable. It was as if someone kept knocking on the door while she was sleeping, affecting the quality of her sleep. "Brother, can I kill them?" Little Dumbo was very angry when she woke up. If not for Xiaoping, she would have killed this group of people long ago. "No rush. Seems like I have to think of a way to solve this." Xiaoping touched his chin. Even if he killed the Restoration Realm cultivators now, the same situation would happen in the future. After all, little Dumbo would continue to evolve. She might even capture Transcendence Realm, Lightning Retribution Realm, or even Sages. Therefore, he had to think of a way to solve this once and for all. He had a vague idea in his mind. Perhaps he could use the power of the true illusion technique to make Gaia Planet stronger, or even transform it into a different world. But his strength was still too weak, and it could not be realized for the time being. "Brother, what can I do?" Little Dumbo looked at Xiaoping. "That's simple. It's just to prevent this group of people from disturbing you. As long as you activate the 5 elements Sky Dragon Demon Ceiling Formation and completely prohibit flying, it will be solved." Xiaoping smiled faintly. His solution was very simple. It was to use the array left behind by the Myriad Star Sect Master to set up a forbidden space array to completely restrict the flight of the Gaia planet's living beings. Below 10,000 meters, humans could fly freely, but above 10,000 meters, it was an absolute no-fly zone. In this way, no one could rush out of the atmosphere of Gaia Planet and affect Dumbo's sleep. Thinking of this, Xiaoping immediately took action. He entered Gaia Planet and activated the restriction array left in Dumbo's body. A vast and mysterious array emerged, covering the entire planet. The returning True Realm cultivators who were still trying to charge into the planet immediately felt a heavy pressure. Their bodies were like kites with broken strings, falling towards the ground. "Damn it, what's going on? Could it be that our actions have angered the master of this world, and he wants to attack us? Bastard, it's all your stupid ideas. I already said that we can't casually anger the master of this world, otherwise we will all die. Bullsh asterisk T, if not, how can we escape from this world? I don't want to stay in this world forever and wait for death. Shut up, hurry up and escape, otherwise we will all die." Many returning True Realm cultivators were shocked and fled. They felt that this kind of restriction array was not something they could resist. If they continued to stay in midair, they would definitely be crushed to death. However, the power of this restriction array was also reasonable. After all, this was an array set up by a sage. Even a sage could resist it. How could a mere returning True Realm cultivator be its opponent? A group of people fell to the ground. Their faces were ugly. They knew that they could no longer escape from the sky. It was clear that the master of this planet wanted to imprison them in this place. Interesting. Using the power of Dumbo, Xiaoping also discovered that Gaia Planet had undergone earth-shaking changes. The trillions of living beings who lived on this planet had completely changed this place. Although the humans here had nothing at the beginning, and all the tools had disappeared, there were also many forging masters among this group of people who knew how to make all kinds of wonderful tools. Therefore, they quickly adapted to this primitive planet, made many tools, and began to build cities. They occupied many places and had already formed many giant human cities. Different people formed groups, forming so-called forces, countries, and organizations. Even for resources, food, territories, and so on, they also fought with each other, resulting in countless deaths and injuries. After these people died, their souls were also absorbed by Gaia, which made Dumbo's power continuously grow. The land area was also increasing at a crazy speed. Compared to when he stayed in the Mist Star Field, the size of Dumbo's planet was already 3 times bigger than before. This kind of growth speed was so fast that it was shocking and unbelievable. This was not deliberately done by Dumbo, but the natural growth of Gaia Planet. At this time, after many people's lives had stabilized, they were also extremely confused about their sudden appearance in this world. They kept guessing. Damn it, what the hell happened? I stayed on the planet and never offended anyone. Why did I suddenly appear in this place? Which powerful being is joking? To be honest, to be able to swallow a planet in an instant and quickly transfer trillions of people to another world, this kind of ability is definitely a sage-level powerhouse. No way. Why would a sage target ordinary people like us? We are too unlucky. Damn, I'm the unlucky one. I am the young master of the Chong Tian faction. I have a bright future. I only came to this planet for a vacation, but I was caught and brought here. Who could be more wrong than me? If I knew this earlier, I wouldn't have come. Damn, I was traveling with a few concubines at that time. Suddenly, I came to this place where even birds don't shit. I was so scared that I couldn't recover for a few months. Sob, you're nothing. I was speculating in real estate on Bawa Planet. I invested all my money in it. Now when I wake up, all my houses are gone. My pocket is even cleaner than my face. Who could be more miserable than me? How can we leave this damn place? Leave? Don't even think about leaving. Even the powerful beings of the returning truth realm want to leave this world and pass through the atmosphere. But they can't do it. There are space barriers all around. Without a doubt, this is a space cage to lock us up. I'm just a nobody. Using a space cage to lock me up is too much. Is there any justice in this world? Chapter 1579. Looks like the people are seething with resentment. Xiaoping raised his eyebrows. He used Gaia's power to perceive the voices of every human. He knew that the 3 trillion humans he had captured were furious and hated him, the mastermind. His eyes lit up. If he guided them a little, he would definitely be able to harvest a wave of hatred. In his eyes, these people were treasures that could be harvested. But now is not the time to harvest. The moment these people's emotions reached their peak would be the moment he made his move. And this also required an opportunity. Right, if I can build an interdomain teleportation array on this planet and connect Gaia with the Hell Plane, I can let many dark ghosts and demons enter this place to fight. Suddenly, Xiaoping had an idea, and his eyes lit up. If many nether ghosts and demons die, their dissipated soul energy will definitely fuse with planet Gaia, greatly accelerating the growth of planet Gaia. He thought of another way to use the power of this group of people. To be honest, the soul energy of Hell's dark ghosts and demons was more than 10 times stronger than that of ordinary humans. If he could devour the soul energy of dark ghosts, it would be of great benefit to Gaia. And he did not need to fight personally. The people on Gaia would naturally fight for their own survival. It was equivalent to him hiring a group of super fighters for free. He could even capture all kinds of cosmic villains and murderers from all over the universe to help, turning this place into a super battlefield, a trial ground for fighting with Hell. Of course, it had to be a temporary teleportation array that could be interrupted at any time. Otherwise, if he really connected a permanent channel with Hell and allowed demons from Hell to come in continuously, it would be impossible to stop them. That would be pure suicide. If I want to build a teleportation array that connects to Hell, it seems that I have to study that secret plane and find the spatial location of the Hell Plane. Xiaoping narrowed his eyes and considered the feasibility of this matter. After all, this concerned his future. If Dumbo continued to evolve, he would definitely become a saint-level expert. Then he would have a powerful helper. Would he need to worry about other dangers? At the same time, a few light years away from World Head Planet, a huge wormhole opened. Battleships jumped out one after another. There were more than 1,000 of them, and every battleship was extremely strong, not something a normal universe ship could compare to. The battleship was equipped with a dense array of cannons. The moment it was fired, it would be countless laser cannons containing the power to destroy the heavens and earth. This kind of military power was enough to destroy a small country in the universe and destroy dozens of planets. These warships were the elite forces of the Red Scarf Bandits, and it seemed like they had come out in full force. One of the battleships, no, it should be a space fortress. It was incomparably huge and was equivalent to an aircraft carrier during the nautical era. It was like a small planet, and it was the true headquarters of the Red Scarf Bandits. Why did the Red Scarf Bandits always come and go like the wind? No one was able to find their headquarters. The reason was because their headquarters were universe fortresses. They could move to any corner of a universe at any time. With such mobility, no one would be able to find their nest. At this moment, the leader of the Red Scarf Bandits, Wu Un, and many of the senior cadres of the Red Scarf Bandits were gathered in the center of the stronghold. The strength of these people was extremely terrifying. At the very least, they were at the early stage of the Golden Core realm. and there were even some who were at the peak of the Golden Core realm. It could be said that there were 108 high-level cadres. Xiaoping killed 4 of them and heavily injured 3. Adding the losses from other battles, there were only about 90 left. In addition, the Red Scarf Bandits had 3 deputy leaders. Their positions were second only to Wuan. Their strength was at the initial stages of the returning reality realm. Wuan was at the peak of the intermediate stages of the returning reality realm and was about to step into the advanced stages of the returning reality realm. No matter where in the universe this strength was, it was not to be underestimated. We have finally arrived. Is this the star field near World Head Planet? But leader, we have attacked World Head Planet and killed a direct disciple of Chinquan's sect. This is equivalent to offending Chinquan's sect. After doing this, I'm afraid we will no longer be able to stay in the star field ruled by Chinquan's sect. A deputy leader said in a deep voice, "That kid must die. Otherwise, what prestige do we Red Scarf Bandits have? We must kill the chicken to scare the monkey and make the world fear him." Wuan sneered, "I believe you all know that in recent years, we Red Scarf Bandits have been in a lot of trouble and suffered heavy losses. First, Yuko led a fleet and disappeared. Then, one of our secret planets was robbed, causing a large amount of crystal rice and 9 heaven-living soil to disappear. We suffered heavy losses and lost our biggest source of income. Until now, we still can't find the culprit." He gritted his teeth, and his tone was full of hatred. The disappearance of Yuko and the rest was just a small matter. After all, he was just a true Fire Realm Elder and not an elite Red Scarf Bandits. What made the Red Scarf Bandits hurt was that the planet was robbed. It caused a large amount of crystal rice and 9 heaven-living soil to disappear. They were unable to deliver the goods and violated the contracts with many families. Therefore, they had to compensate for most of the losses. It could be said that it was a serious injury. Now, it was unknown how many interstellar pirates saw them like this and wanted to take advantage of the situation. During this period of time, they had been in a terrible state. They had to constantly deal with the families that tried to claim compensation. After all, they had lost the crystal rice and were in a state of breach of contract. Therefore, they didn't have time to care about the disappearance of Yuko and the rest. Of course, to Wuan, the most important thing was to obtain the Star Core. This was an important treasure related to his cultivation. Once he obtained it, he would definitely advance to the Transcendence Realm in the future. If he could reach the Transcendence Realm, then there was no place in the vast universe that he couldn't go. Nothing was more important than his cultivation. Even if he had to give up the Red Scarf Bandits, he wouldn't hesitate. Leader is right. During this period of time, we Red Scarf Bandits have been too aggrieved. We have suffered setbacks everywhere. If we don't show our prowess, others will treat us as sick cats. Kill the chicken to scare the monkey. We can kill a direct disciple of the Chinquan sect to deter the others so that the other forces won't act rashly. It is said that the planet's resources are not bad. It is prosperous and prosperous. There must be a large amount of treasures that will be enough to make up for our losses this time. Kill and conquer. We must let that stupid Chinquan sect disciple know the terror of us Red Scarf Bandits and remember it for life. He come. I have been longing for a massacre. Let the humans on the World Head Planet know how terrifying we are. Let the universe hear the name of the Red Scarf Bandits again.